you mentioned Grant, played with him in the Cape. Is there anybody else, maybe somebody that was a freshman that's going into sophomore like Grant, that LSU fans should keep an eye on next year?
First meeting was like, yeah, we got the 6-year guys like Vittmeyer and Bianco. I'm like, bro, I'm a normal senior. he goes, are you really? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I swear. And he goes, no.
I don't even know this one.
Do you know Hideki had a huge porn collection? See, all
just made that up.
Nope. Google it. Google it.
What did y'all give him this morning? He is off the racks over here. Man.
He asked me specifically for Vyvanse this morning. Didn't give it to him. I was confused.
Oh, look out. Mikey is hit and down he goes. Man, he is not happy at all. That is the second time that Mikie Mahtook has been hit in this game. But this
Never forget it, bro. I had a 7 or 7:30 exam in the morning, so I walk outside.
Real life.
And I walked in I'm like walking in my car, and I'm like, damn, I could have sworn I parked over here. I'm like, what? Nah, maybe it's not here. I'm gonna go look around over here, bro. I walked like 3 parking spots, like in the direction I thought I probably parked. I'm like, fuck that. I know I'm parked right here.
Kids still doing that and out there playing for hours instead of just chilling on the video games is awesome to see.
Chilling on the video games. Did you just age 55,000 years?
Well, we call them Fortnite nerds.
Yeah. Chilling on the video games.
I mean, chilling, like playing video games.
That's the way to say it, yes?
You think an old man would say chilling on the video game?
That's what you just said, yes.
You think an old man would say chilling?
On the video game?
On the video games?
Yeah.
Well, oh well.
You're an old man.
If you want,
Well,
I'm not a gamer.
You're getting older.
I mean, I guess
Mikey.
Good evening. Happy Hump Day. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Wednesday, October 26th. LSU Football is on a bye week. We are brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Football doesn't stop. I gotta get used to this new mic. It's just it has to be closer to me.
I'm sorry. I'm in the same boat. Look, I'm trying to navigate this new. I'm very
it's
close to
gotta
the
be,
screen.
The mic's gotta be closer to me to hear it, I think, right?
I can turn you up.
Yeah, turn it up, baby. Turn it up. We got a big show. It's Wednesday. Football does not stop. They have some big games on this weekend. NFL is still going on. You have Thursday Night Football tomorrow. But LSU is off. I know a lot of our viewers and a lot of our listeners like to talk LSU. We will talk a little LSU football, but today's going to be a baseball day. We got Jay Johnson coming on via video call at 6:15. We have Kramer Robertson and Joe Schwartz coming in studio to talk a little women's basketball, a little baseball with Kramer, talk about where he's been. He had a...
This is not what the people wanted. I'm sorry to report. They want more Eileen.
I'm only reading the chat here.
I think Eileen liked the show. I think she'll come back on. She'll be our Saints insider. What?
She'll cover the Saints.
She did a very good job. But
Great. I thought so too.
Lloyd's fishing for something. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. But we got a big show today. Like I said, Jay Johnson's coming in. The boys of spring, not the boys of fall.
Boys of summer.
The boys of summer are having a very, very, very good fall practice. It is winding down. They only have a few weeks left, I believe. I think Thanksgiving is when it ends. And we're gonna get all the details from Jay. Jay's gonna come in and talk about who's performing, who's not. Well, I guess he's not gonna say who's not performing, but who is he surprised by? Who is he excited about? Talk about the pitching staff. Talk about all the things that he wanted to correct last year. Looks like they are in the midst of correcting it. So I'm looking forward to it. We there's a lot of stuff in the football world rumbling around, right? You have the dumpster fire that is Texas A&M, that is continually just engulfed in flames, right? They were supposed to be really good. Best recruiting class in the history of recruiting. Not in the year, not in the last 10 years, in the history of recruiting, as long as they've been rating recruits, right?
I think they should be able to make another. I don't know if you remember the movie Blue Chips.
I do.
I think they should be able to make another Blue Chips movie off of this coming off season at Texas A&M because
What?
I got a feeling that's going to be a 5-star transfer.
A little bit of a mass exodus, huh? Yeah. So
it'll be just like Junction Boys. You don't like it? I got you a ticket on the way out of town.
see, I've never seen Junction Boys. Never seen that one.
Mikey,
Why are you looking at me like that?
I mean,
He was offended by that. What are you
I
looking
think
at?
so.
the movie's trash, but I'm just saying, you have 2 years on me. I would imagine at some point Junction Boys came on ESPNU, and you're like, let's see what this is all.
You watch ESPNU?
Only if there's a game on is when I watch ESPN.
Like a throwback game, right? Like not even. Well, even maybe like a.
Well, do they still have ESPNU anymore?
No, that's what I'm saying. They used to have they would do the top 25 college countdown going into the 25 best games of college football. But
So
25,
you watched them from kick
Yeah, he
to
did that.
finish.
He did
Yeah, I
that.
don't think I've ever really watched those. I'm
Me
gonna be
either.
honest with you. So-
Me either.
You were
But
probably, I think y'all were busy.
I just don't think I've really watched those.
probably.
I'm more of a current event guy.
Yeah, yeah, or like very way in the past, like
Yeah.
like fucking Magic Johnson era,
Yeah.
like my MJ shit.
Something
like,
that I know I didn't see.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
right.
So y'all the same.
If I saw it, I'm like, well, I already saw this.
I already
shit.
saw this. I don't want to see it again.
Well,
You know what I
well
mean?
that's because we live in the era of 2013 to 2017, where you're like, I don't want to watch any LSU game that comes on this College Classic channel because it's 10-3 again in the fourth quarter.
I guess we'll go with that. We'll go with that. The latest fuel to the fire at Texas A&M is 3 players suspended for the year. Apparently,
I thought it was 3 or 4.
3 or 4. I think it was 3 or 4. I don't know. However
And it's
many.
indefinitely, not the year, right?
Okay, indefinitely. I have to imagine what we heard would happen. It means that they are suspended for the year, probably. They were caught smoking.
Caught is strong.
Okay, what do you mean caught? Strong.
I feel like they wanted.
Yeah, okay. They were. People witnessed them
33 to 25.
smoking the reefer, smoking pot, smoking marijuana,
The wacky
smoking
tobacco.
weed in the locker room pregame, from what I heard. Not postgame, pregame, right?
Some nervous
Maybe
boys
they're
there.
a little
huh?
anxious. Maybe it was a big game. They're a little anxious. Well,
Maybe they said, "Get me the fuck out of here."
Gotta
Let's
ease
blow-
my
let's
mind.
blow
So
this place
Ease my
up."
mind, coach.
they were witnessed.
Ease my mind.
They are suspended indefinitely. Somebody came out on the Twitter sphere and said that, oh, this happens more often than you think. Okay, maybe so, but like, you just had to like add that in there. Like, why? Just you're trying to defend them, or like what? I don't get why you do that. But needless to say, suspended. A&M came into the year high expectations. Number 1 recruiting class, supposed to be really good. They are 3-4. They are in jeopardy of not making a bowl game, which the way that they're playing, I don't think that they will. So it's kind of a dumpster fire there. LSU, everybody thought going into the season was a dumpster fire. LSU has not been a dumpster fire. They have continually progressed and gotten better. We've talked about that a lot on the show. We talked about how Brian Kelly has done a very good job of bringing in his culture, bringing in his process, and it's starting to land and hit and do certain things. Brian Kelly had an interesting take on the rushing the field incident of last week. I say incident. Event of last week's game, right?
Marwan was an incident. This was
Marwan was an incident. To me, it sounds like Brian Kelly is on the same page as me of, hey, we probably shouldn't rush it. He didn't say we shouldn't. He said, I didn't expect that. Didn't think that was a game that we should, that it was rushworthy, but it was fun. Let's do more of it. To me, that's like, hey, we probably should set our standards a little bit higher here because we're LSU. But also, hey, I want the fans to have fun.
I
And
enjoy
so-
the excitement.
Yes, and I don't want to say don't do something that makes the fans have fun. So he did a very good job of being politically correct there and staying right in the middle and doing both sides. So, listen, LSU football is in a good spot, and they're progressing and they're doing things. What's wrong? What are you doing over there?
I just wonder what he's doing over there.
Well, he's
I was moving this thing
messing
closer.
his stuff, dude.
All right.
Lloyd's very judgy today.
Why'd you put the camera on me for that? That's the real question.
Your shoulder was rubbing up on the microphone. I just didn't know what you didn't know if you had something to say.
Just mute me.
We're going through the Heineken headlines. Coach Jay Johnson's coming on in 6 minutes. Andy Dalton is the new starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Dennis Allen came out, said that he is starting again this week, and then followed that up with he is starting. Jameis Winston is healthy, and we are starting him based off of performance. Tells me that, hey, he's the new starting quarterback. How do you feel about that?
I think Dennis is working on a first-class ticket back down to the DC ranks.
Or a new job somewhere, probably.
Maybe somewhere else.
I mean,
that's what it sounds
but
like.
Here's the: do you like as a head coach? Do you start if you're a head coach and you get demoted back to defensive coordinator? Or do you just leave? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of a weird. Like Saints can say, "Hey, you did a very good job." Like he's not the interim guy.
No, I didn't necessarily say there.
Yeah, right.
Because let's be honest, like it'll be 2 failed attempts. I don't think he would probably make a lateral move somewhere.
Maybe
else.
Andy Dalton has a
Boys, the division is still up for
listen,
grabs.
No.
But that's what
I
makes
understand
me-
that, but I'm just saying, like in the sense of like
why?
where that team is right now. Like they acknowledge that Jameis came out and had a broken back basically after week 1. Then he tried to play through it.
Yeah.
What exactly were you expecting?
I mean, you can't say he got Wally Pitt because Andy Dalton just didn't go out there and light the world on
Y'all
fire.
flew him not y'all, like the league flew, y'all, the whole team, across a pond to go play a game in London where he basically sat on a plane with a broken back straight up and hasn't played since then.
Yep.
I'm not exactly sure how you lose your job that quick when you're losing games still with the
You'd
backup.
be surprised.
When you're losing games with the backup still in. I'm a little off on that one, but
I'm with you.
we'll see.
You know what else blows my mind? What else confuses me? We're going to stay on the NFL train for just a little bit. Can Russell Wilson get any worse?
Can he get out of his own way? I don't think he can.
I mean, at this point, I think he's tricked himself into thinking like that's actually him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that he knows that he is like not a real human being.
I was about to say, like, I never really like paid attention to like through his career, like his conversations and his, interviews and stuff like that. But I feel like recently, like if you just like really lock in and look at him, it almost looks like he's not aware that like this shit is not okay that he says and that he does.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, let's go down and list a few things that he has done just this year, right? He started the "Let's Ride" phrase
after his "Go Hawks" phrase.
After the "Go Hawks" phrase, right? So
had to find another.
The "Let's Ride" phrase, and he has continually pushed that even after god awful games, and continue like this. And he's staying on the horse.
I saw a stat yesterday. It's not even a stat, really. It was basically saying Russell Wilson through we're in week 8 or week 7 right now. Through 7 weeks of the season, has more bathrooms in his house than he has touchdowns thrown on the season.
Got 10 bathrooms. I can
Love
shit
that.
all day.
Love
I
that.
think he's one of those guys.
Love that. Now, I'm sure he hasn't seen some of the bathrooms. He hasn't even walked into some of the bathrooms. But here's the deal.
Well, it makes you call into question the danger witch if you have to have that many bathrooms.
You're right.
It's
so
dangerous.
You have the phrases. Not good. He did the whole in the fake huddle thing. High five. Did the whole play call when he was hurt last year. Then this year he did the whole let me run out the tunnel and practice half high fiving people. Then he showed up to training camp, first day training camp in his own jersey. So those are really cool things.
And he showed up to week 1 looking like Pee Wee Herman too.
Yes, he did.
He did that too.
Okay, so then all of that is everybody's talking, laughing, the whole thing, and they're not playing well, it makes it worse. Then he does this. So Denver playing overseas across the pond in England and London, right?
Fish and chips.
They're playing in London. And 8-hour trip. Obviously, Russell Wilson's banged up, has a little hamstring issue.
He's got Wolverine's blood, though.
But he has Wolverine's blood, but for some reason, Wolverine's blood must have worn off because he didn't play.
Yeah, it didn't really last. It was only for one day.
To me, if you're going to say something stupid like that, you probably should play. But he didn't play. Okay, so let's add that.
But they also said it wasn't his decision. It was the coach's decision to hold
Wolverine's
back.
He walked in and said, I got Wolverine's blood. Coach like, if you got Wolverine's blood, you got to get in there. Yeah, I mean, duh, right? So now Wolverine's blood. Hopefully, it's still in his body for this week, right?
Well,
so 8-hour flight, right? So within these 8 hours, he had 2 hours of treatment and massage and like stretching.
Before you even go any
Play
further,
for the Browns?
Before you even go any
Oh,
further,
funny.
I don't know if this is like normal or not for these London games, but if it's not, how salty would you be if you were the trainer that had to help him do this stuff on this 8-hour flight?
I'm pretty sure a lot of people are salty with him, right? So
Continue.
So he goes through these first 2 hours, and he is getting stretched out. He's making sure he's getting treatment. Okay, great, that's cool. That's the first 2 hours. They had another hour where he was watching film. Okay,
It's normal.
film on the plane, making sure. Then the other 2 hours, he was working out. And I'm not talking about like, making sure he's standing up and like doing some like little bit, maybe like little
Shake
like
your legs out.
maybe some one-legged squat. No. This man's doing full-blown high knees up and down the aisle of the plane. People are sleeping, trying to get their beauty rest for a flight to try to play and win an NFL football game overseas. This man's doing high knees on the plane. Then he said, I slept for an hour. Yeah, only slept for 1 hour. Made sure to, and he's saying these things are being said not from a reporter or a trainer or a coach who's trying to talk up his quarterback.
Where they came from.
They're being told to the media by Russell Wilson.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Straight from the horse's mouth. Like, hey, look at me. Look what I did
From
on
the
this
Broncos'
flight.
mouth.
Straight from the Broncos' mouth.
That's
Like,
right.
look at me. Look what I did. Look how dedicated I am to this team. Wow, boy. You stink.
A lot of Russell is about him. Like,
I mean,
all of the time.
All of Russell's about him.
Like, but
Is
he's
Coach
never.
in there?
I would love to get his opinion on this.
I don't want to get his opinion. I just want to make sure.
He is there. Oh, look at the view, coach.
He's in there. Okay. Okay. Listen, we're gonna get back to this. We're gonna talk baseball. This is bye week. This is baseball time. Playoffs start on Friday. We're gonna get. We have 2 LSU. Aaron Nola got the opening day, game 1 nod for the Phillies, so he'll be starting. You got Bregman on the other side. So you got 2 LSU guys who were teammates at LSU together, playing against each other in the World Series. We're gonna talk to Jay a little bit about that. Talk to Jay about the team. Talk to him about fall. Look how great that backdrop looks. We're gonna get 30-second break. And we'll get Jay situated, and we'll be right back. You're watching Mik'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Friends down at Sterling Automotive in Lafayette, go to their website at saveatsterling.com. Awesome people, go check them out. Hey y'all, it's Mikey from Mik'd Up. I want to talk a little bit about my friends down at Sterling Automotive in Lafayette. They're locally owned and operated for over 25 years. They have 13 locations, 4 in Opelousas, 5 in Lafayette, 1 in Broussard, 2 in Jennings, 1 in Crowley. They sell any type of car you could possibly find: Buicks, GMC, Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Hyundai, Genesis, and Kia, along with 5 pre-owned locations. They have over 1,500 cars in inventory on site. Unbelievable service, unbelievable people. If you're like me and you're on the go, they can sell and they can ship you cars up to 200 miles. Unbelievably convenient. Again, my friends down at Sterling Automotive in Lafayette, go to their website at saveatsterling.com. Awesome people, go check them out. No point to me? Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. I told you, sometimes Lloyd's points, sometimes he doesn't. It's just a guess. I'm guessing. I'm excited to introduce friend of the show, the field general, the guy who is going to bring LSU baseball back to the promise. It's been a long time. It's been since the summer. So he's been on here. I'm sure he's missed Lloyd a lot. But let's welcome Jay Johnson back to the show. Coach, welcome back.
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Awesome. Good to see you.
Where's that backdrop? That's a nice backdrop.
You know, really complex. I literally just turned the computer around on my desk, and so I felt like your viewers would rather see a nice view of the
great.
box instead of my cabinets. So
That looks. I like the view. It looks great.
I think they would want to see like your depth charts and all that kind of stuff.
I was going to say what they want to see is the whiteboard,
notes.
Coach.
That's what I think
The
they want
notes.
to see. I don't know though.
The notes.
that's right over there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Turn that camera to your right.
Coach, let's get to it. Let's talk about it. Fall practice has been well underway. You wind down, I'm assuming, a little bit probably before Thanksgiving, and then the guys go out to Thanksgiving. How has fall practice been? You have a lot of new players. You have a lot of new freshmen, new transfers, guys that came back that are trying to make the jump from, being okay to being great, or for being great to being special. What have you seen this fall?
Yeah, it's been good. I think so far we've done a really good job with the controllable things, things that are really small, like when the position players lift at 6:30 in the morning, everybody shows up at 6:50. And so the things that require no talent so far, this team has been very good with. Very low drama, as I would like to say, where we can just, get on the field and work and make those improvements with guys individually and as a team. I always start back at the beginning every year, kind of assume that the players don't know anything and, really work through our progression as a team and with them individually. So all good right now.
Coach, I got to imagine something like this could be probably a little tricky, but with the amount of guys coming in the transfer portal, coming in from different places, from your point of view, how have they fit in so far and how are they adjusting to a new place?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, first of all, as many as we have is a relative number. We actually have the 10th most in the SEC. So,
Wow.
That's crazy.
Kind of what, yeah, exactly. So what is a lot nowadays? Right. Who even knows? But very good question. I think the team dynamic is something that you have to work on and you have to be deliberate with any year. No different than last year. I mean, it was a lot of players that, we didn't recruit, we didn't know. It was our job as coaches to earn their trust based on how we worked and how we developed them. And you kind of start that over every year. I think the advantage we have this year is there's 21 new players. There's guys that were in their first year of college baseball last year. So you have more guys that how we operate, this is all that they know. And the older players, I would give the credit to the returners. Those guys have done a good job of helping bring guys along and leading by example. And just because there's a collection of talent doesn't necessarily mean that it's a team. Like, you have to be smart in how we do everything and putting that together. And I feel really good about that right now. And I think it just speaks to the character of the players in the program.
You may have the 10th most transfers, but you have the number one high school recruiting class in the country on campus right now. And we've talked to a few of the guys coming in, Gavin Guidry, some of these guys that have come in, and extremely impressive personality-wise. They seem like they're mature beyond their years. What have you seen from the freshman class on the field, off the field, interacting with some of the guys in there? Because you have a team full of guys who have a potential to be first-rounders. And these guys are kind of coming in to try to figure out their role after being superstars in high school. How have they transitioned into college?
Yeah, so far so good. I think what stands out is how these guys are working and how coachable that they are. I think all of them are aware of we have good players, and they were recruited here for a reason, and they believe in themselves, as all of them should. So at least from a impression standpoint, there's guys with talent, obviously, and there's guys that have the work ethic. And now I think it's just getting acclimated to, maybe a new way of doing things, understanding that, this is probably the biggest jump they'll ever make in their baseball career from high school to the highest level of Division I baseball. You guys know better than anybody. It's probably smaller, going from LSU to the low minor leagues. And so we're just kind of getting them all acclimated right now, but very impressive talent, very impressive with their coachability. They're wanting to be good. And again, all good on that front.
One of the biggest transfers, obviously one of the most notable transfers is Tommy White, right? He came in here, he's been on the show, seems like a great guy. He's coming out there and every time they send out the TrackMan stats and you have highest exit velos, him and Dylan Cruz are, top of the board, right? And offensively, it looks like this lineup has the potential to be extremely special. What have you noticed from him and from the lineup in general? And it just seems like you have 9 guys that you can put in the lineup, then you have another 9 guys in the dugout that probably could be in the lineup. You can almost have lineup A and lineup B.
Yeah, I think in coaching, I've always had this thought: you're maybe never as deep as you think you are. On the position player side of it, with this team, you're right. If guys continue to improve, then we have some real depth and real options, and that's awesome. Right. That's a credit to the players last year for improving and developing. It's a credit to the talent of the new players. And in Tommy's case, this guy's a special hitter. I mean, I know those exit velos jump off the page. He feels like he's hit like 1 million homers already in fall scrimmages. But the pure hitter is what's impressive to me. Like, you can give him something really simple and he can apply it immediately. And I've always thought that was a key with great hitters, is their ability to make adjustments. And, like last Sunday, I mean, he hit one like 800 feet, off the scoreboard. I mean, it got out of the park in like no time. And then the next at bat, somebody got him to 2 strikes and then tried to shove a fastball in there, and he hit it like an absolute missile to right center for a double with a man on second base and not trying to do too much.
Right.
And so I think if we follow along into that type of, mindset with everybody, and you get a group that's controlling the strike zone, moving the ball, staying within themselves with runners in scoring position, we're going to hit some homers and doubles and all of that. But if the maturity comes along with the talent, then you're talking about you might be able to do something pretty good.
Coach, I gotta imagine it's probably like a shot of life. How refreshing is it knowing that this is undoubtedly and pretty obviously a huge year for him? How refreshing is it having a healthy Trey Morgan again right now?
Big time. Yeah, I think the best is yet to come. And I know he's had a really good start to his career here, had a really good freshman year a couple of years ago. Last year, what he was able to do, basically playing at 70% or on one leg, was remarkable. I mean, that's a tribute to Trey's competitiveness. He's added some strength. We have been in constant work mode on an approach and just some subtle adjustments for him to tap into some of that strength and bat speed. And it's been very impressive this fall. I think he's driving the ball. He's hit 3 or 4 homers. I mean, the ball's really coming off his bat. He's turning on balls. He obviously has the ability to hit the ball the other way. Great plate discipline, great awareness. I think the best is yet to come. And when you think about how good a player he is already, that's really exciting.
I spoke with Trey a couple weeks ago I wanted him to come on the show and to talk about it. And that was the one thing he said. It was like, man, I really want to come on there and talk to you guys because I changed my approach a little bit. I kind of tweaked it, and it's made a huge difference. What exactly did you do to it? Because he's always been the bat-to-ball skills have always been there, right? His hand-eye coordination, his athleticism, but you always feel like you had more juice in there. He just didn't really tap into it, and now you're starting to see him hit homers, and it's like, well, what changed?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let him speak to some of the things because he's worked incredibly hard in the weight room and those kinds of things, and I don't want to short-circuit any of that. He deserves all the credit for it. I think you just mentioned the bat-to-ball skills and the hand-eye. I mean, for him, that has both been a blessing and a curse. Right. He rarely strikes out. He can literally touch almost anything. And I can remember, like, him swinging outside the zone last year and grounding out to second base. and running down to first base in front of the dugout. And I'm like yelling at him, like, yeah, that was a ball.
Right. Yeah. Just swing and miss sometimes. It's okay.
This is why I talk to you before you go to the plate, Coach.
Right. But literally, I mean, his plate discipline is just really moved up.
Yeah.
And what's happening is getting balls that he can really drive.
Yeah.
And so when you put that together with the added strength, he's such a competitor. Like now you're talking about something that could really be good. And I'm really excited for that. And his key, and obviously Dylan Cruz, who in my opinion is the best player in all of college baseball, for them, it's just about not trying to do too much,
right,
and staying focused on their plan. And they'll be successful no matter what.
The offensive part of baseball is probably the sexiest thing for fans, right? That's what they want to see. They want to see homers. They want to see runs scored. But pitching is probably the most important thing for a team, right? Last year, the starting pitching depth wasn't what you wanted it to be. You've come out there and you've talked to us about it. You've talked to other media about it. The bullpen was very solid and kind of carried you. Kind of felt like they got overworked maybe towards the end of the year. This year, it seems like you have 4 or 5 guys starting pitching-wise that can be in the weekend rotation. And one of those guys that I really want to talk about is Grant Taylor, because I feel like every time I see him out there, he's sitting 97, 98, and he's striking out, 11 guys in 4 innings. And it's like, well, this guy must have figured something out over the summer. How has the starting pitching been? How is the depth, and what are you excited about?
Yeah, I'm very excited about the pitching staff. I think those guys are throwing the ball with great conviction. Some guys have made some real big jumps, not just in terms of velocity, but their secondary pitches, where if they're executing pitches, that's what their job is, they can be really difficult to deal with. And, I mentioned Grant Taylor. I think if you were to ask me, one guy that was going to be like, whoa, this guy really, really elevated himself. Grant's probably the first one that comes to mind. I mean, it's 4 pitches for strikes. He really believes in himself, throwing everything with great conviction. You can't really plan for him, at least the way he's executing right now. And that's a lot for a hitter to deal with, and really excited to see him continue to progress. And he's putting a lot of good days together in a row. And I was talking to pitching coach Wes Johnson yesterday, and Grant threw his bullpen. He's like, man, he was really good today. I was like, well, what about the last time?
What about the last time he struck out everybody faced?
Right, yeah. So
how has Wes Johnson been? How has the adjustment been? How is he a big? I'm assuming he's a big part of those jumps that these guys are making.
Yeah, I think you guys are players, and,
right,
and I think the most important thing that I was not talking about you.
I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, I thought he stuck it by you.
See this guy?
But I mean, the most important thing than the player-coach thing is trust, right, and buy-in. And so when you bring a coach that has coached at the highest level and has really developed guys, I mean, his knowledge is unbelievable. His ability to communicate is second to none. But we have immediate buy-in with those guys. And that buy-in, they are attentive as they possibly can be. So when you look at it that way, he's having a massive impact. And then once you have that buy-in, him really executing the plan on a daily basis of taking guys from A to Z is awesome. And he's a massive part of, we mentioned Grant, and the improvements he's making. And it's exciting because, there's a lot of guys that may not be at the forefront of this thing this year, but if they just stick with it, I mean, they're going to go like from, hey, maybe a back end guy on the staff to this guy's starting on the weekend on a team that's right, capable of competing for a national title. Like if the players continue to stay focused on this process that they're being taken through, I think you're going to see a lot of jumps on the pitching staff, and that's really exciting.
So I'm glad you mentioned the elephant in the room for us, because quite frankly, I'm sick of talking about how good he is. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think there's like a single thing that you can say about him on the field as a real negative. Can you speak to the maturity and the growth that Dylan Cruz is making as a leader right now in this club?
Yeah, this dude is special. Like, and I really hope that everybody here understands it. I mean, obviously we had before I was here, but Joe Burrow, you know what I mean, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, and that type of impact. Like, for me, that's what Dylan is. Joe Burrow is the best college football player. You know, Dylan Cruz is the best college baseball player right now. And so the talent in itself really catches your attention. But what I get to see on a daily basis is this great person, that leads by example and also is leading by voice. And when the best player speaks up, everybody listens and everybody follows. I mean, it's more powerful than any coach saying anything. And so I'm really proud of his evolution that way. Just as an example, it's an off day for us today. He's here at the facility working on his own. We want to be a culture, what we call a lights on culture, where guys are here outside the time. A lot of the times championship teams, the winning and the separation happens in the in-between when you're together, whether it's on a road trip and getting people connected or doing extra work. And Dylan really sets the example with that.
As far as football, it's football season, obviously, right? So football recruiting, does the LSU football doing what they do and having the excitement, does that help with your recruiting and bringing guys in? Like, is that something that you focus on, or is that just a byproduct of hey, you come to LSU and that's just what you're going to get?
Yeah, so I got two answers for you on that. I mean, the competitor in me, I always want us to be known as a baseball school.
Right.
I want to be the flagship program. That's probably the bad part of my personality.
No, it's good.
However, you're not going to find a bigger fan of what those guys are doing than sitting right here.
Right.
I mean, because exactly what you said. There's great examples of what they're doing. Like, they're in week 7 or 8 right now, and how much better is our team than in week 1. And when you listen to Coach Kelly speak and talking about being process oriented or fundamentals or focus, all of these things are relative to helping our players grow and what we're doing. So I look at it they're setting a tremendous example right now. And we point to things that they do well. So in the immediate, it's helping our team develop. And then on what you're talking about, we had 6 recruits here for that weekend. And they were supposed to meet us, and they got up the field. You know what I mean? So I don't think they were in a hurry for, any coaches meetings at that point in time.
I can't imagine.
And so, that's a big deal. And, it's something that we're definitely pulling for those guys. And, same with Coach McMahon in basketball, because the better we all do, it's great for everybody.
Yep.
Bosch has got an extension, so that's good.
Let's flip it back. Let's flip it back to baseball. Lloyd has to always throw his 2 cents in there. Flip it back to baseball. So another issue towards the back into the season, probably the last 20, 30 games of the season, I felt like the defense played well. Right, obviously, the beginning of the season started off slow, and it skewed, I think, the numbers for the full season. How has the defense and the infield, and how is because you're gonna have new faces in the infield as well? How have they gelled together? That's a position group of people that have to have some chemistry together. How have they gelled together?
Yeah, I'm really excited about that right now. A few things have kind of evolved. I think last year, we had a couple things that weren't in our favor. I asked Cade Doty to basically play a different position.
Right.
Jordan had knee surgery, 3 weeks before the season started and played opening night. And that really affected the strength in his legs, his ability to bend, play low, which is everything as an infielder, stay in his legs when he was throwing. And then, Jacob Berry, was known for his offense. Now, to his credit, he became a good defensive third baseman. But we were kind of fighting an uphill battle. And so this year, we made it an absolute priority from day one relative to fundamentals and what we were trying to do. And these guys have worked extremely, extremely hard. And, in our blueprint for winning and what this team needs to do to be successful, our ability to control the baseball in the field is absolutely going to be priority number 1, because somebody's going to hit a homer, We're going to strike some dudes out, but those guys have done a really good job. And it's credit to them and their work ethic. And there's really 6 guys right now when you talk about second base, shortstop, and third base that I'm really comfortable putting in a game right now. And so I feel good about where we're at. I feel good about the work they're putting in. I feel good about their awareness of the things that they need to do to be a good infielder for us. And we're just going to keep pushing the ball forward and keep working in this manner. And when they go home in December, they're going to have an outlined plan every day of the things they need to do to continue the progress that they've made. But I think if you were out here watching Intersquad, you can clearly see what I'm talking about.
I mean, you have probably 4 or 5 spots on the field that are pretty much set in stone, right? You have some guys there that have been there for a while that you pretty much know. But the blessing and the curse, I guess it's more of a blessing, is when you have a bunch of depth and you have a bunch of talented players, you have some pretty intense position battles, right? You have some competition that makes everybody better. What are some of the positions that you have enjoyed watching these guys compete with each other to try to earn a starting spot?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I've never rushed these decisions, and I think what I learned is players, they change and evolve day to day. I think what I'm looking for is consistency and reliability and performance, especially when you have some special players like Dylan, Tommy's ability to hit the ball, Trey Morgan, those guys. Like, all you're looking for with the rest of the puzzle is reliability and consistency in terms of taking quality at bats and controlling the baseball on defense. And so there's a lot of guys that can do that. I mean, I'm firmly believe that it'll be many years down the road, but you'll look and there'll be a major league player that came from this team that was not an everyday starter.
Yep.
And so I'm excited to see it all evolve. There's a number of guys that I have confidence in, and kind of how I do the fall, like, we're not rolling out like, this is what I think the starting lineup is, or any of that type of stuff. I do think the competition is great because it's elevating what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
And these guys know, like, if coach is going to talk about reliability, and I got to bring it on a daily basis.
Right.
And you've really seen some guys lift, and some guys maybe go the other way when it's that way, and that's okay. I mean, this is a team that's trying to achieve at a high level and achieve at a high level for a long time.
Yep.
There's veterans that, maybe had critical roles last year. The role might be different. There's high school guys that have been the dude everywhere they've been that it might take a little bit of time, but the best teams that I've had often haven't looked the same in Omaha as they did at the beginning of the year. And it's a long season. And so what we're trying to get these guys to do is understand what makes them their best player, help coach them to that, and then the puzzle will kind of put itself together.
Coach, I'm hearing a lot of what you're saying now. I'm a listener, and I heard a lot of injuries last year. You're looking for a CRP, a little competition, reliability, performance. So you're looking right at the guy right here who's got eligibility left. I graduated early because I didn't graduate at all. If you need a guy that just can play the middle infield, get you turn, I know how to get on a knee, turn one this way. I'm just saying, there's room out there for me. It seems like you need a 5 or 6. Use Bianco as a glue guy. There's somebody in that locker room that needs to carry the boombox, and you're staring right at him. It's up to you, Coach. That's all I'm saying. Putting the ball in your court.
Noted.
Hey, Coach, how many infielders have you taught to get on a knee and flip it over into? Not very many, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Demonstration is really important to good coaching. And so, Lloyd, if you really got that thing down, I'm open to look at the video, and
there we
I
go.
Can maybe show Ben DePoltz how to do it better than you.
I've been hanging out with Skip Burtman every Tuesday. I got HWA now, How to Win Awareness.
There you go.
That's one for you. You can keep that one.
There you go. Very good. That's by osmosis. Hopefully, Coach Burtman.
There you go. There you go. Coach, I appreciate your time. I know it's getting late. I know you're at the field. That's your baby. You're a grinder. I love that about you. That's what makes you so good. I'm excited to watch this team grow. I'm excited to watch y'all compete in the spring. Can't get here soon enough, but again, always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Have a
All right,
good night.
appreciate you too.
Thank you, Coach.
I think there's some carries out there for Coach on the field. John Emery's out.
Hey, he likes you, Lloyd. He does like you. He laughs at you.
He knows my name.
That
counts for something.
He when you make the comments, he makes the comments back. So he does like you, which is good. It's good. Jay's awesome, man.
Jay is the best.
I can't thank him enough for like the time that he's given us. You know what I mean? Like we had just started our show in January last year, and you know he's his first year, and Jay came on our show every Monday for 2 months, and
in a tough spot to come into with no idea really what he was getting into. With
when the iron was really hot at that point too,
right?
You know, everyone's got an opinion at that point of the year.
And Jared's asking him tough questions.
I mean, LSU baseball
jokes.
As far as like criticism and expectations, like LSU baseball and LSU football are pretty neck and neck, right? Like obviously football's got more people watching.
Yeah, there's just more eyes to the football thing, but I think the expectations of both sides is pretty similar.
Yep,
pretty equal.
Yep, and
might actually be higher on the baseball side.
And he's handled it very well.
Really telling the truth.
You can hear in his voice how excited he is for the type of team that he has this year, right? And it's going to be fun. I think it's going to bring back a lot of what everybody wants LSU baseball to be, right? Exciting, fun, a little bit of like swagger on the field, you know, but like not too much. And they walk in, they know that they're good, and that starts with Dylan Cruz, right? Because Dylan, that's kind of his personality. Like he knows he's good. He's got that quiet confidence about him, but you can feel it, right? And you just kind of get that vibe from everybody else, and it doesn't feel like it's fake. So you can see in his face and his response that he's pretty fired up. I'm pretty fired up about it too.
And it didn't feel like it was nerves. It felt more like you said, a little quiet confidence, a little smirk, a little wink and a nod. But he knows that all of this is – he built a team that the expectations are so high to where he knows that
I think he built him to have those expectations.
That's what I'm saying. He's not running from any of this.
I think he wanted to build – I think he wanted to bring in so much that they knew from day one, this is what's expected of you. So we're not just saying this just so in this building we can, you know, kind of trick ourselves to think that's what it is. I want you to know that I want this. I expect this. You should be expecting this. And pretty much everyone who shows up here to watch a game is going to be expecting this.
I mean, they're going to have – you may have been spot on with Trey Morgan. Your analysis of Trey Morgan comparing him to Anthony Rizzo, no, he's still not Anthony Rizzo, okay?
Yeah.
Completely different player. Still going to be a completely different player
leg
than Anthony Rizzo. But
wait, time out. How about him drop that little bit of nugget?
Some juice.
How about him drop that nugget about Jordan in here? We didn't know that.
What?
About the surgery
3
weeks before the season. That probably had to.
Well, I think we knew that he had something done. His knee was bothering him. I don't know if we knew the extent of it.
Or did we even know that it was that close to the start of the year?
Did we? I don't think so.
No.
I think he gave more of a nugget than I've heard about that situation,
which makes sense.
Because I feel like if I would have known that before, I would have been like, well, this is probably has a lot to do with his defensive struggles.
Which makes sense why he played way better towards the end of the year because his knee started feeling better.
Yeah.
And
it makes sense as to why.
Here's my question. And I didn't ask him because like it's the fall.
Yeah, you didn't want to put. I mean,
you don't know. Like he doesn't know who's starting yet on some of these other positions because anything can happen. But Gavin Dugas came back, so you'd imagine that he is
at
probably,
least battling.
Yeah, or like it's his position to lose.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to go with at very least he's at least battling.
And I would imagine he's probably going to play maybe a little bit of second, right? The second base position is completely open. I guess you can say the third base position's open, but I think Tommy's going to probably take that. And then you have one outfield spot open in the catching position. So that's 4 positions that they're probably battling out right now.
I think Tommy might carry multiple gloves this year. That's just my guess.
You think he'll play first, third,
it's possible.
outfield?
Maybe less outfield. I think he might find the other side of the diamond a little bit. That's
First?
just my guess.
You talking about second maybe?
No. First. That's my
So
guess.
where do you put Trey?
Wherever.
Outfield?
Yeah.
You want to call him back and see?
But that was my. It'll probably be predominantly at third.
Yeah.
But I think he might find his way over there a couple times this year.
I really wanted to ask him about Skeens too, and I didn't. It's 6:45, and I want to be, considerate of his time.
Hey, it's okay. We'll get him back on.
I was with.
Do we have our other guests? Are they in here?
There were some questions we left on the table, but considering that he was with us early in the year, there's no doubt he's going to ride with us if the year goes the way that we think it will. He came in here with his, like y'all said, feet to the fire, not really knowing what he was getting into, and still put himself.
I'm pretty confident.
Not even. I don't want to say like chopping block in terms of getting fired, but chopping block in terms of, hey, there's some.
First impression means a lot.
There's a lot. And he was like, I'm not concerned about what people think about me at all.
I'm pretty confident that I can say that we're going to have Jay Johnson Mondays this year. Like
JJMs?
I mean, I think JJMs are probably, let's stick with the Jay Johnson Monday.
Jay Johnson Monday. WWJMD.
Big abbreviation guy over there.
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to do.
I'm trying to make it
hashtag. You're forcing it.
I think out loud. I get paid by the hour now, so you only get me for a couple of minutes at a time.
I'm only here for a short time, not a
long time.
Okay, there it is.
Or the wrong time.
That's
possible
too.
Are they here?
How would we know?
I thought I saw somebody walking back there.
Well, door's open. It's open door policy. Could be anybody. I had to buy the guy across the street a pack of cigarettes last week.
You wanna?
You had to?
He asked me to.
Okay, I was just checking. I just wanted to.
He got scared of him.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't scared. I just said it was his birthday like a month ago. I was like, that's close enough.
I'll get you some smokes. There you go.
456.
Hey, did we break some breaking news last on Monday about Jack Besh playing? And then he comes out in the quote, and then he told us, we said it first, that Jack Besh said he was going to play. Nothing was going to keep him off the field. And then he told that same thing to Brian Kelly. And Brian Kelly said it in the media. We just break news over here. That's what we do.
It couldn't be us.
Huh?
Couldn't be us.
Why couldn't it be us?
No, that's what I'm saying. Couldn't be us.
No, we don't do that.
No.
We only break false news like the Zion stuff.
He's playing now.
By the way,
I
watched the Pels play last night.
Without a couple guys.
Without 3 guys.
Yeah.
Actually, more than 3.
3 key.
3 key
guys. 3 really key guys.
They're fucking good.
Yeah, they do have a good squad.
They are good, man. Like, really good.
Should be interesting this year, man.
Should be fun. Should be very fun. It's gonna be. We gotta get to some games.
Yeah, of course.
But once Zion's back, it makes.
We'll wait a little bit.
They said he may be playing Friday.
Yeah.
But like that, that makes. It's fun.
I think that's why
you see what the Smoothie King Center looks like. Like people.
Yeah.
People
I think that's why they kept him out last night too.
Yeah.
They wanted to try to push him to try to see if he'd be ready for
Yeah,
Friday.
they're here. All right, let's take a 30-second break. You're watching Mik'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Damn, we got a squad. Boys rolling deep. Be back. 30 seconds.
I think they came in on a golf cart, if I remember correctly.
What's up, cuz? What's up, though? How you doing?
What's up? What up? He's just in town visiting. What up, man? How you doing? Yeah. You can see. Today's show is brought to you by Dos Equis. Here in Louisiana, we like to have a great time. If you're looking to be the life of the tailgate, check out Dos Equis mini kegs. Hold 16 beers, easy to tap, easy to pour, easy to chill. Check it out. Become the life of the party. You're welcome. Welcome back to Mike. Thanks for the point. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
In the break.
Welcome back to Mik'd. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Before I introduce our next guest, our friends that have come in and hung out with us, if y'all like the show and you enjoy Lloyd getting made fun of by Jay, if you enjoy
scholarships,
me,
it wasn't a no.
well, first of all, your scholarship's not. There's impossible to have a scholarship. I think more of a manager.
Oh, walk
manager
on.
role.
I think you would like really work as the
I think more of a manager role would be your deal, but
Hey, if
before,
Buzzy Heidel can make it work, we can make this thing
hey,
happen.
Buzzy can play now.
I don't think you're getting in the door.
Beat
on
him in
scholarship.
golf.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Huh?
With you.
I beat him in golf. That guy shot even at Augusta, and I took his money.
You want a rematch?
I'll
Tasty.
I'll
I'm
play
sure
right
you
now.
Oh, tasty.
Before we get into this, though, if you like the show and you enjoy listening to us, please hit the like button, subscribe. It helps the show out a lot. This is a shameless plug. We need more subscribers. We're getting some traction, and we'd like to get some more support. So that's my shameless plug. Now, to introduce our next guest, LSU legend, the son of Kim Mulkey. I think that's the way I'm going to introduce you. The son of Kim Mulkey.
Who? Talked to your mama this morning.
The Kim Mulkey is his mom. He is a professional baseball player. Made his major league debut this year. Had a wild
Yeah.
season, which we've been there. We understand it. We're going to talk about it. And his best friend, childhood best friend, you see him on the court next to Kim Mulkey, dressed in some swagged out outfits. Which I guess you have to do that because how good. That's probably where you get your style from, huh? Your mom?
For sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sure.
Kim Mulkey dresses swaggy. You have to dress swaggy. Joe Schwartz, welcome in. Huge recruiting class for you. We're going to get to that for y'all. Not just you. You're a big part of it. Not just you. We're going to get to it. But welcome in, boys. I'm excited to have you.
Is this a good height? Can you hear me?
You don't even have to bend down. You can
Okay,
just talk
nice.
normal.
All right,
Yeah,
perfect.
dude. Just relax.
Relax over
You're
there.
good in front of the
Why you
camera.
sitting
No, I'm
there?
good.
So
I just
straight over there.
Lean back, kick it a little bit.
Kick it like this weekend.
Ankles showing, we're good.
Like this
Let it
weekend,
all
big weekend.
out.
So this was your first weekend back?
First football weekend back.
First weekend back. How was it?
Let it all hang loose, to say the least.
Did y'all take a golf cart?
Nope.
No.
I don't know. I let 7 months of frustration out
There you go.
this weekend.
There
It
you
was
go.
Good.
All right, let's talk. Let's get to the year. All right.
I know you didn't have a cup of coffee this weekend. You've had plenty.
Oh God.
So look at that. Look at you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you did there.
I see.
You were in the big leagues, or at least on the roster with 3 teams, right?
Correct.
So you were in DFA 3 or 4 times this year.
3 times.
3 times.
Claimed 4 times.
You made your debut, right? Which is awesome. Congratulations. Like that's not many people can say they made it to the big leagues. Talk to me a little bit about that because, at least for me, when I had my expectation of getting called up, you know, the day it happened, it was like, damn, this is awesome. And then what happened after the fact was like, okay, this is not what I anticipated.
Yeah.
Going up and down, I didn't get designated, but going up and down like 8 times throughout the course of the year takes its toll on you. How was your experience? 1, tell me about the call up. How awesome was that? And 2, talk to me about, you know, how did you overcome and how did you get through all the up and downs and all the uncertainty?
Yeah, this could be a little bit of a long answer, but
Perfect. We got all the time in the world.
getting called up and all of that was nothing like I dreamed of at all. And that sounds terrible because it is a dream come true, the actual call up. But everything that happened after, not so much. So we were flying to Norfolk, Virginia, and I'd had a good week, and we landed. It was like, you know, the 5 a.m.,
Norfolk
the AAA flights, you guys know, the worst. Get the first flight out, it was an off day, though. So we finally get to the hotel, connected wherever, got to Virginia, and I'm taking a nap, and my phone rings, and it's my manager, and he's like, in a panic voice, like, hey, where are you? What are you doing? I was like, dude, I'm sleeping. I've been up since 4 a.m.,
Right.
3 a.m., I'm sleeping. I was like, what's going on? He's like, you're going to the big leagues. I was like,
Wow. Just hit
like,
you.
what? It just hit me. He's like, yeah, you got to call Mo, which is our president. So that was cool. Called my mom, who was actually with Joe. They were driving back from Waco to Baton Rouge. And so I called Joe. I just didn't tell him anything. I was like, hey, just get the video camera out. I need to call Mom. I'm going to tell her a joke. Did I say it?
You saw him say something funny, and I said, there's nothing you can say that's going to make her laugh right now.
Yeah.
She was in one of those moods.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
So
So you had no idea.
I didn't
knew
want
from
to
the
know.
text,
I wanted them to.
I had a
her
really
to be
good
the first
idea
one.
about it. I had a good
But I
idea.
didn't
Of
tell
What
her.
he was probably
when he
talking
said
about.
that, I was like, there's nothing you can tell her right now.
Yeah.
And
So
so I knew to have the camera ready.
So I FaceTimed her, and I told her, I was like, hey, what are you doing? So I'm going back to Baton Rouge. Like, you think you can make it to St. Louis tomorrow? And
she figured it out, obviously.
She didn't believe me.
Oh, really?
She was in just shock. She's like, "Don't screw with me right now."
Yeah.
But it didn't go. It was a little bit different terminology.
Yeah. It was rated.
I can imagine. Yeah. It wasn't that calm. It was a little more fiery, I would imagine. Yeah.
And so that was awesome. The debut. That next day was my debut. Got in the game. All my friends and family were there.
That's what I want. I don't want to cut you off, but to me, it was awesome the way St. Louis did what they did, right? Because like, it wasn't like they didn't have to put you in at the time, but like they made sure that, hey, you got called up. We're gonna make sure he gets an opportunity. Like to me, that's pretty cool because not every team does that.
Well, the coolest part about the debut wasn't for me. Like, I had been around those guys. I had been in the big league stadiums before, just not active. I was with them in the playoffs last year. The coolest part was when I saw my mom, I saw my dad, Joe, everybody walk in at BP and with their BP field passes, and they were all just in awe looking around. That was the coolest part for me, was taking ground balls and seeing that. And then once I was actually in the game, it was the bottom of the ninth, and we were down 2, and I was the tying run on first. So I was like, oh, my God, don't get backpicked here.
Yeah.
Tommy Edmonds on second, great speed. There's 2 outs, but if he steals third, I got to get to second base here. So, and I was like, ball in the gap, I got to score. So when you're in the minors, like in college, like it's easy. It's routine. Like you're just, you know what to do. But I was making sure I was crossing my T's, dotting my I's. I was like, all right, here's what I got to do. But the batter ended up striking out. So the debut was really cool. The next day, I got my first at bat. It was late in the game. We were up big, got an RBI. They took me in the clubhouse and celebrated. However, you know how it goes in the clubhouse.
Put all the nasty shit on you.
Oh yeah.
Put you in the shower.
Yeah, in the laundry. Yeah. And
wait, keep going for those that don't know.
Oh, so you want to explain it, or you?
I'm sure yours is a similar.
So
experience.
basically, if you get your first win, your first hit, your first anything, RBI, whatever. They celebrate. They put you in the laundry basket, like the little thing that you put all your clothes in, and you sit in there.
Stuck in there.
And they put you into the shower, and
it's disgusting.
They throw beer, Coke, milk, powder, honey, ketchup, mustard on you, and they celebrate and like congratulations. Then
which all of that was fine. The worst for me was I got all the ice water. I was in there. It was 2 of us. It was 3 of us. It was Brendan Donovan, Juan Yepes, and myself. Yepes had just hit his first home run. Donovan just hit his first home run. I got my first RBI. Well, I was in the middle somehow, and I got all the ice water, and I got the ketchup and the honey, whatever. And I have long hair, and I'm like, no. But it was fun. It was really cool. It was a fun memory. Right. And then 10 minutes later, like I'm on cloud 9 with all this, and 10 minutes later, after I get out of the shower, they call me in the office, and they're like, Sosa's being activated off the COVID list. Thanks, you're going back to AAA.
Yep.
So I was like, and I have people like multiple people still planning to come in for the weekend, like to come see me. So I was like, well, that stinks. Yeah. I was like, but this cool. I'm getting paid different now.
Yeah. You got an opportunity.
Opportunity. This is everything changes now. But I had no idea what that meant. I thought that I'd be up and down. Next opportunity. So now I'm in AAA. I go back to AAA. Have some time off. Took my 72 hours actually.
Wow.
Which is kind of not many people do that after the first option, but
that's pretty funny.
But my mom flew in a PJ there, and I was like, "How much time did they give? 72 hours to get to Norfolk." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna fly to Baton Rouge on the PJ with my mom and my best friend, and take a few days off." So I did that, and then flew from Baton Rouge to Norfolk.
Right.
But then for the next month, it was probably the most miserable I've ever been playing baseball because I was playing not to get DFA'd.
Yeah.
Which is not, you can't play
I did that in 19. Yep. You know what happened? I got DFA'd.
I was playing not to get DFA'd because I'm looking at the roster. I'm looking at guys, when this guy's coming off the 60, when this guy's
can't
coming
play
off,
GM.
You can't. You learn that, though, through experience. So I was, for a month there, awful. I just wasn't playing well. I was like, well, I'm 0 for my last 8. They're going to DFA me tomorrow.
Right.
And then finally started playing well, and we went to Charlotte, actually, and I was like, got back in rhythm. I was like, all right, just forget about it. And I was playing well and got back in my rhythm, and I got a call at like 8 a.m. from our farm director, and when I saw it, I was like, well, I know what this is about to be, because I knew guys were coming off the 60-day. Told me that I had been DFA'd and couldn't go to the field, so I'm just in Charlotte in the hotel doing nothing.
You sure in Charlotte?
At least I was in Charlotte and not Memphis. That's true. So I'm doing nothing for like 3 days and not expecting to get claimed at all. I was hitting 220. I mean, I don't know what value I had. I've never
Yeah,
talked
but
to any
you're
other
a
teams.
defender, you're athletic. They could play you in
I learned a lot.
different
I learned a
positions,
lot about what teams value this year. But at the time, I'm so clueless and naive. Like baseball up until this year had just been fun.
Yep.
Right.
It had been a game still. There's no I'd never seen any of the business side. Baseball was just fun. And I didn't know what to expect after getting DFA'd. I thought that I would clear waivers and I'd fly back with the team on Sunday after the game. Well, I get a call Sunday morning from our farm director again, expecting that. And he says, hey, just want to let you know you've been claimed by the Atlanta Braves. Boom, back on cloud nine. Like, oh my God, I'm out of the Cardinals organization. Like, I love the Cardinals organization, but now maybe this is a better opportunity for me because there's so many guys here that are
defending champs. Like,
yeah,
but,
but maybe like with the Cardinals organization, there's so many good young infielders, and I was just looking at my opportunity, and I was like, doesn't look great. So I'm back on cloud nine. I call my mom. I call everybody. My mom starts crying, and she never cries, but she was so happy. Go there, play as great as I possibly could play, and then when Joe was there and my mom was there, I took one swing and I sprained my TFCC, and this was like super low key. Nobody knew about this. Sprained my TFCC, like absolutely couldn't go.
Yeah.
And then a week later, I took like 3 days off and then played. And we're in Nashville. I get back from Nashville and we're in Georgia. I get back at like 5 a.m. from a bus ride. Wake up to a call at noon. It's like, hey, Kramer, this is so-and-so with the New York Mets. Congratulations. We're so happy to have you. I played in the game Sunday night.
Yeah.
And I wake up Monday morning. Now.
So you didn't know you got DFA'd?
No idea. Nobody told me I got DFA'd.
Wow.
That doesn't happen ever.
That does not happen.
This is the first time I've heard of that.
Bro, I went to bed an Atlanta Brave, woke up a New York Met, and I'm in Atlanta, and they're like, yeah, we're going to option you to Syracuse.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Syracuse.
Syracuse?
Yeah, that place stinks.
So where is Syracuse? New York? Like by Canada? And they're like, yeah, do you want us to fly you out? And I was like, well, my car's here. It's a 14-hour drive. Can I just drive and I'll get there in 2 days? And so at this point, I'm over it. Like the Braves called and were like, sorry to lose you. Like we really liked you. You know, the whole what everybody tells you.
Had a pretty decent living setup in Atlanta.
Had a great living setup. I was living with his uncle, and it was, like a 10,000 square foot house. Had the whole basement, pool.
Pretty nice.
It was unbelievable. Yeah. I love my time.
No wonder why you were
It
playing
was
so
a
damn
good
good.
It was a good place to visit too. I mean, we took 2 trips to Atlanta.
Yeah.
No wonder why you was playing so damn good.
Dude,
Played his home.
it was the best I played all summer was when I was with Atlanta. I loved that team. It was a super veteran team.
Was Goings there?
Goings was there. The whole team. It was awesome, man.
2 of my
Peterson?
college buddies
Was
were
Peterson there? Dustin Peterson was not there.
No,
right?
he was not.
I just talked to Goins today too. By the way.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gogo's.
Is he coming?
He's a dude.
He was supposed to call me back after we talked for like 20 minutes, so I don't know. Still don't know yet.
But that whole team was just like Gogo. Like that was the personality team, and I fit in really well with that. So I was really upset when I found out that the Mets had claimed me. But at that point, I'm like, I'm over it. I'm like, how much more of this can I take? Like,
right.
So
did you know?
Little did I know, man. And then I get to Syracuse. I'm playing pretty well. My wrist is bugging, like swinging with one hand, but I'm getting through it. Get called up to the big leagues with the Mets. And they're like, you're going to be active. I get there right before the game. They're like, actually, you're not active. Marte's not going on the IL. But we're going to keep you up for taxi squad for the next week.
Wow.
So I wasn't active when.
Well, tell them about how that went down. You were in a game.
No, that's next.
Oh, that's
next.
This is wild.
There's more,
dude. It really wasn't fun at all. Which sounds crazy because it's your first year ever getting to the big leagues, but like going up, downs, different teams.
Yeah, it's tough. You can't get comfortable. You never got to experience really the big leagues because you didn't get to stay there long enough in one spot.
So this was my longest stint in the big leagues was on taxi squad where I was never active. We were in New York, then we went to Atlanta, then we went to Wrigley, which was really cool. But I'm not playing any games. Right. I'm just taking BP and practicing with them and doing nothing. So I do that until
you
they also
get paid. How do you get paid? Just meal money.
Just meal money.
That
but I'm on the roster, which is still
right.
Second year 40 man, which is decent pay.
Right.
So I do that up until the All-Star break. I go on the All-Star break, get my wrist fixed up, come back, and I'm doing well. And it's the day of the trade deadline, and we're in Lehigh Valley, and I'm on deck, and my manager is screaming at me to come back in. I'm like, there's no way I got traded. There's just no way I got traded. Maybe I got DFA'd, but why would they let me start this game? Or I'm going to the big leagues. And that was an 11 a.m. game in Lehigh Valley. And I went 30 minutes from on the on-deck circle to an Uber to D.C., 4 hours I'm active.
You had an Uber from Uber to DC.
Ubered from Lehigh Valley to DC.
Wow.
I'm activated that day. So I get in there. I'm not there obviously in time for BP or anything. Get my uniform on and go straight to the dugout. It was DeGrom's first game back. So I was there for 2 days, and I'm practicing with the team third day or whatever it was, and Buck calls me into the office, and he's like, hey, we got a lot of guys coming off the IL. We're going to designate you, but you're our next guy up. We want you to get through waivers. We're going to send you to Syracuse. You are our next guy. We really appreciate your game. We appreciate how you get on base. You play defense.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I'd really had somebody like be honest, like really honest and genuine. So I have so much respect for Buck Showalter.
I've heard a lot of good things about Buck.
How he handled that, just how I saw him handle. I was up there for long enough. Just how I saw him handle everything. Like you can tell he's been around.
Yeah.
And I just really respected the way he told me that I was being designated. It was honest. So I'm like, well, what do I do? I can't go back to Syracuse, and they're flying somewhere today. So they got me a plane ticket, and I flew to Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
So I came to party with Joe for a few days, which was
what else do you need?
Dude, which mid-season, like those trade deadline, like July, that's so sick. Like I was like, all right.
You don't get those like
no, you don't get that.
And at this point, like I'm numb to being DFA'd. Like I was like, I understand the process. It's not like they don't think you're a good player, they don't like you.
It's just a numbers game.
Yeah. And if I clear and an infielder goes down, I'm the next guy up. Mm-hmm. So at this point, like I understand the business more. There's no loyalty for people like me. Like I'm being passed around. Like I'm insurance to a lot of these really good teams this year that were making playoff pushes. So I didn't take that one personal. I was numb to it. I was like, oh, whatever. I'm gonna get away from this. I'm gonna come party with Joe.
So then you come back and then you get claimed.
At least Crawfish was still kind of good in the summer.
This was nuts. So I come back and Joe and I go out like 2 nights in a row, and I was in his room coming to say what's up after a long night. And I get a phone.
Well, I'm on FaceTime with my brother because he's asking all the questions. He's like, why is Kramer back in Baton Rouge? What are y'all doing? Like, I'm like, I don't know. He's just here, so I'll let you talk to him. And right when I said that, phone rings.
My phone rings, and I'm like, don't recognize this number. Put it on, and I'm like, oh, wait.
Probably should answer it.
I answer it. It's our GM with the Mets. I think it was Billy. I think it maybe been the farm director. I don't remember who it was. I was just I wasn't locked in. Super hungover. And he's like, hey Kramer, so-and-so with the New York Mets, just wanted to let you know you got claimed. We're really upset. We really liked you.
Can I drop tomorrow?
Who'd you get claimed by?
And that's why I'm like looking at Joe. I'm like, I got claimed again. Like I wasn't, every time I got claimed, I wasn't expecting to get claimed. I was expecting to clear every time.
Yeah.
So I look at Joe. I was like, I got claimed 4 times. I was like, what's going on, man? And I was like, who did I get claimed by? And he goes, the St. Louis Cardinals. I went, what? I went
all the way back.
I went, what? He's like, oh, that's right. You were with the Cardinals, weren't you? I was like, yeah, this
like a month
year.
ago.
Like 3 months ago, before the Braves claimed me, then you claimed me, now the Cardinals claim me back. And I was like, yo, this is too much for me right now. I was like, so that was on a Thursday, I think. And the Memphis Redbirds are in Jacksonville. I'm in Baton Rouge. My car's in Syracuse. I was like, dude, this is nuts. And I still got like
places
2 months
in Atlanta.
Yeah, and my favorite house is in Atlanta. My worst living situation is in Memphis. I have no living situation in Memphis anymore.
But all your friends are in Baton Rouge.
But my friends are in Baton Rouge, so I'm
going back to Baton Rouge.
I'm scattered, bro. I'm scattered. So the Cardinals called me, and I was like, look, I can't go to Jacksonville. I'll meet them in Memphis on Monday, and I'll play Tuesday. So we paid one of my friends a lot of money. I flew him to Syracuse and paid for all the gas and the hotels, and he drove my car from Syracuse to Baton Rouge. Like
wow. Shout out D-Mills. That was
such a homie move, bro. Told the Cardinals that I'll meet the team in Memphis. I can't right now. It's a lot for me. I don't want to go to Jacksonville. I need to get my life figured out. There's a lot going on. So that was the story. Then I went to Memphis and played there the rest of the year and played pretty well. And
so are you currently on the roster?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe through another season.
I was on the roster from the second May 10th when I got called up. I've been on a roster every day.
And that's what I was gonna get to, right? Like, as much as getting DFA sucks, you're still on a roster, right? There's like, when I got DFA, I never got claimed. I got DFA 2 weeks into the season from the big leagues, and I had not gotten claimed. Now I was in a little different position. Like I was, I didn't have the versatility as a position, like position player wise, and I was
probably the options too.
I had no options left.
Yes, yeah, I had all
I had no options left, and I was coming off an 0-for-23 start to the season.
Yeah.
So, nobody at that point in the season, everybody already has their team.
Right.
Right. Like they're not ready to make a move. Most teams. So I got DFA cleared, went back to AAA, whatever. So I can't relate to the getting claimed and going everywhere else, but it's a wild game, man. It really is. But the beauty of it is you're on a roster.
Well, and if you get claimed, like as much as it sucks to get DFA'd, like to get claimed gives you the confidence that you have value and that it's not just the Cardinals that saw value and that drafted you. Like I was drafted, made a good impression on. I feel like I made a great impression on both the Braves and the Mets. They both said they didn't want me to leave. They didn't want to lose me, which, maybe they didn't. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't care at all. But it gives you confidence when people value and you feel wanted.
Yeah.
And even being brought back to the Cardinals, like it shows that they wanted me. They value what strengths that I have. Even if the situation's better, there's always gonna be a better situation.
It's hard. It's hard to go through it, but you just take the positives out of it, right?
So you spoke about it, how up until this year, baseball was like just fun for you. Like you were pretty much numb to like the business side of it. So then the first business transaction happens and you're starting to kind of like understand it. And then this thing keeps going on and it keeps snowballing. It keeps happening. As far as for the year that you experienced this year and going through all of that, how much has it taught you to just kind of be able to like be where your feet are kind of? Because you can't play, like you spoke to, you can't really play GM. It's impossible, all right? How much has that spoke to you and helped you kind of like just live in the moment?
I think that's a really good way to put it. Like just being present, like enjoying that I'm getting to play baseball. I just turned 28 years old and I still get to play the same game that I was playing when I was 8 years old in the front yard. So like I'm thankful for that. And so like Mikey was saying, you can't play GM. You can't say, well, I need to put this number up and I need to do that. Like I've tried to just now, and actually I talked to Coach Maneri about this like halfway through the year. I was talking to him and I was really struggling with it. And he was like, don't focus on a number. Don't focus on what they're doing, the front office is doing. Like all you can control is if you're pleased with your performance that day. And like if you worked hard that day, you had a good approach, don't worry about anything else because you can't control anything other than what you can control.
Right.
And so I think that's a good point because if you control what you can control, then it's a lot less stressful and you can have that joy back because I lost it there for a little while. Like I really did. Yeah. Like it wasn't fun. I wasn't enjoying playing. I wasn't enjoying every at bat. Felt like.
I get it. Oh yeah,
bro. You remember that? And if you play like that, it is.
Listen,
I think it's funny, man, because like, especially coming to a school like this and making it out of a school like this, right? It's outside looking in. It's perceived as if like you never went through shit,
right?
And you don't go through shit,
right?
And nothing ever happens, right? Like it feels like every chip fell your way, right?
Yeah.
And so when you go through stuff like this and people kind of get to hear what this thing really is, like it opens it up into where people can understand, like, damn, man, that shit it's not just peaches and roses every day they walk out there.
Bro, yeah, go ahead.
No, go.
Like what people see, like the public see, whether it's on TV, I mean, it's for all of us, but whether, for my career, like, whether they see me on TV, they see something on Instagram, they see a highlight on Twitter, like, you're seeing, like, the very tip of the iceberg of my whole career. Like, you're not seeing freshman and sophomore, what I went through here with everything that I was terrible, but I wasn't terrible, but I couldn't figure it out, and I had to go through.
Catch, taking balls with the mouth.
Well,
we all went through it.
You all went through your struggle. You went through your struggle, and then now you see me in the big leagues, and it's like, wow, like he's so lucky. That must be so awesome. But like you didn't see everything else that happened.
I worked for this shit.
Well, you don't see what else happens after the big. Like you're in the big leagues, but like, the big leagues are awesome, but it's not like. If you're not playing well or you're not solidified in the big leagues, it's still a grind, right? Yeah. Like in 19, I thought I had gotten to the point I had no options. I was like, I'm going to have a long leash, right? Opening day center fielder. Playing in Toronto against Marcus Stroman. Had some good at-bats, didn't get a hit. Next day, had some good at-bats, didn't get a hit. Now I'm thinking, shit, I got to get a hit or I'm going to get DFA. Like, I got to figure this shit out, right? And the more pressure you put on yourself and the more times you think, I got to do something because the guy, that stems from what happened in the past, right? That stems from the year before, stems from 2017 hitting 280 and playing every day in the big leagues to the next year getting 30 at-bats and starting 4 for 30 and then getting optioned for no reason. And then, okay, you play well at the end of the year. Okay, now I'm going to start the season, opening day center fielder. All that stuff comes back and you're like, damn, okay, well, they sent me down last year. I got to figure this shit out. More pressure, more pressure, more pressure. Now you're like, you look up and you're like, fuck, over 23. When I got DFA'd, it was almost like,
took a breath.
All right.
Okay.
Like the
Now
pressure.
what? Now,
All right.
You could just go.
It's like,
you
well,
just
that's
go
not
play.
the way you want to feel. But that's
where
people
you
don't see that, bro.
Right.
It's hard, you know, and that's what makes guys in the big leagues so good. They can get through it, but some guys have different opportunities. Some guys have longer leashes.
The opportunity is different for
Yeah,
everybody.
it's crazy.
It's impossible. People don't understand. It is. You guys know you play, but it is impossible to play baseball when you are distracted by what if I don't perform today, if I don't perform this week, like I'm getting sent down, I'm getting DFA'd, and I learned that this year. And like what you said, just being present is the best thing that helped me. And just I don't care anymore. I'm not scared to get DFA'd anymore. Like, I'm not scared. Like, DFA me, like, maybe somebody else will claim me. If not, like, I'm going to just try to be the best baseball player
That's all you can do.
that I can
And
be.
you got good friends and family around
For
you.
sure.
And you got people that have done it. Like, that's important, right? Like, if you're on the island on your own,
right?
You know, that makes.
I'm not married. I don't have any kids. I'm going to play the game as long as I can until nobody will give me a jersey anymore.
There you go.
But
Well,
it was an experience, man.
And that's what I wanted to ask. You may have hit on it a little bit, but what kind of dragged you back into baseball? Because once you get that feeling, you're like, I feel. It's not that I'm tired of the game. It's almost like I'm burnt out. Like I don't find any joy in this anymore. To find it again, what was that moment where it kind of clicked on? It's like, wait, I'm playing, like you said, I've been playing this since I'm 8 years old. I'm playing a kid's game. Like I should be enjoying this, but I'm not. When did it kind of, like you kind of get horny for baseball again?
I knew he had to somehow.
He can't resist.
Yeah, somehow to get it back in there.
Yeah, it was difficult. So I called Coach Maneri, or I actually asked him to call me. And as you guys know, Coach, he was being coach, just like the most Coach Maneri advice ever. He wasn't like, hey, it's going to be okay, like talk to me.
I'm really honest.
No. He's like,
Kramer, I watched a lot of
he's like,
at-bats.
he said, you know, Kramer, this pro baseball isn't for everyone. You know, I hate it, to be honest with you. I hate pro baseball.
How much he hated pro baseball.
And you know, I went through it. I see guys all the time. Like it's just too much for them, and that's okay if it's too much for you. You know, nope. You had a heck of a career. Look at all you've accomplished so far. Like, it's a lot to be proud of, and it's just not for everybody. And if you can't handle it, that's fine. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Bro, I'm steaming on the other line.
It's probably good though. It's probably good. He's like, oh,
bro,
fuck that.
That's exactly what I said to him. I was like, yeah, that's all I needed. I'm good. Like, all right, bet. Like, he knows how to push my buttons. He coached me for 4 years, so he knows how to push my buttons. So I never lost the love. So I guess that's not the right. I love to play the game. I hated how I was playing the game, and so he did that for me.
Or how the game was playing you.
Yeah, and so he did that for me. And I had that conversation, and I went out and, I mean, I went off. Had the best week, best few games of the season. And I just get I think I got a text or something from him. It was just like a, haha, seems like it worked.
Seems
like it worked.
You know, what's so funny about him is you don't really get that in pro baseball almost anywhere. Like, there's no one. You can be 0 for 5. You can go 0 for 12. You can literally go eat dinner every day with the hitting coach. Mm-hmm. You can get to 0 for 20, and there's nobody that's gonna look at you in your face and be like, "Hey, wake the fuck up! What are you doing?"
Maybe it's not for you.
There's no one that said. Everyone is they just coddle you all day, and they just want you to feel good because the thought around baseball is that it's so hard to do. We can't quote unquote like knock you down, and
you can't be tough
that's the
on
one
them.
thing you know leaving here and playing here where you having Coach Maneri, that was probably his biggest asset. Like, he wasn't afraid to tell you the truth. If you sucked, bro, he was gonna tell it to you in your face, straight up.
I was expecting that call to go different than it did. Like, I was expecting,
like, I'm at a crossroads, bro.
That was the crossroads. I think up to this point, that was like the crossroads of my baseball career. Like, I had one in college. After my sophomore year where I really struggled and I hadn't played for 2 years, that was a crossroad. and I turned to Coach Maneri then. Wasn't easy on me then. But this time, I really thought, like, you know, he's
I'm not playing for you, right?
Bro, he's retired. He's been out of it.
Is that U Club right now?
I haven't. Yeah, he's been golfing. I just golfed with him a couple times in the off season.
Did
like,
the snake
the
trick
snake
on
trick?
like I thought, like, you know, he'd softened up a little bit, and he was just the way he said it too. It wasn't what he said. It was just like the way.
tone, dude.
It was just like the way he
knows
said
that
it,
shit.
and he knew what he was doing. Like he's known me for so long. Like he knew what buttons to push. Like he would do the same stuff when I was playing here. Like if I wasn't playing well, like he wouldn't just jump me my senior year in front of everybody. It's not that he would scream at me. It was just like little, just smart ass comments that got under my skin that he knew would motivate me. And that's exactly
what he does.
That's exactly what he did on that phone call, and it worked.
Well, then in a few weeks after that, you came back to Baton Rouge and he threw you BP.
Yeah, he did, that was all after I got DFA'd.
I was supposed to be in that group with y'all, and I didn't.
Oh, we were.
No,
that was in the offseason.
This was like August, like July or August after the Mets DFA'd me. I came to Baton Rouge and we went on a little bender for the first few nights. Then I got claimed.
Then I hit BP.
Then I got claimed. I was like, all right, I got to lock it back in. I'm gonna be off I was off because it was like almost a full week I was here.
Yeah.
So he came to the box to throw me BP. And we hit on the field, man, and
I like hitting on Alex box.
I was so not confident after that BP, and he just was so proud that he was
trying to get you out.
Trying to get me out.
Curveballs and
yelling,
shit.
come on, hit a line drive, come on.
Yeah.
Guy on second, 2 outs, come on.
Quick pitch.
I love it. Hit a homer. The next one's like in on my hands, like. But it was awesome. And then of course my first game in Memphis back, 3 for 3, double homer, 2 walks, like went off. Get that text. Looks like that BP worked, huh?
He likes to take the credit.
Bro, he's the best, bro. He's the best.
He does throw a great BP though. I'll give him
He
that.
does. He does throw good BP.
He's great BP. He's the best. He's
his
awesome,
neck
man.
got messed up.
That's okay.
No more BP.
He's back at
Well,
it.
dude, glad that you're back in the offseason. Glad that sometimes you gotta go through the shit to figure out.
See what happens.
Yeah. Because everybody can tell you how it is and what to expect. You don't really know it and get through it until you go through it. But you're on the roster. Have a long career ahead of you.
Yeah.
Fired up. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Let's shift it over.
I was going to say one more bender in you for the Alabama LSU
Oh,
game.
listen,
I mean, I'd
he's
imagine.
You're
Come
here
on.
for a minute, huh?
If he's
Come on,
here,
Coach.
I imagine he's probably not gonna be watching it at home.
Yeah.
Baseball, I'll start lifting at the beginning of November. I'll start working out. But I won't touch a baseball bat or a ball, glove until after Christmas, probably after New Year's.
That's when I got to get my arm loose.
You gotta start throwing BP.
I start late. I like to enjoy. I need time off.
Yeah.
I need to reset. A lot of
For
people
sure.
like to start November, December. I'm January guy and I'm good.
That's good.
So I got plenty more if y'all want to come hang out with me anywhere.
All right. Figure it out. We've done it before.
Do it again.
We'll do it again.
The guy you got to watch is over there in the corner.
Yeah, this guy right here, right? Joe Schwartz.
Yeah.
What's your official title?
I'm the
AKA
assistant
Ratty.
director of basketball operations for
There you
LSU
go.
women's basketball and other duties as assigned.
I like
Oh,
the
that's
other
part of the
dude.
title?
Yeah, I like the other
It
dude.
needs
That's
to
a
be.
long title.
It
Jesus.
needs to be on
Like,
there.
is that in the program?
Bro, he was before we got here. He's cleaning my mom's neighbor's roof because she asked him to.
With like a power washer, not a power washer, but like a hose connected to a bottle of spraying
That-
water.
So you the plug plus the LSU title.
Yeah, whatever she needs me to do. I mean, it could be 2 a.m. It could be.
And
6 a.m.
you've known Coach. I guess I call her Coach for a while, right?
Yeah, y'all moved to Waco in what, 2000?
2000.
2000. So
You were 4.
I was 4 years old. Oh. And I guess the rest has been. She's seen a lot of things from me.
That's good. And you played basketball at Texas. You're
Played
a
basketball at
basketball
Texas.
player at Texas.
Walked on for Coach Barnes. He got canned, and then Coach Smart came in, and I was with him for 3 years, and spent a year in New Orleans working for the Saints and Pels, and went back to Waco when COVID hit. Coached a little high school ball, did a little real estate, and.
Did you know you always wanted to be a coach, or is that something that?
I always knew I wanted to work in basketball, and I loved what I was doing with the Saints and Pels, but I didn't see myself doing it long term. And it was an internship, so it was like 1 year. Great. Moved back to Waco and really wasn't doing anything. Unemployment was really nice. Sleeping in, playing golf every day. But I was like, I can't do that. This is not sustainable.
last.
Like,
Where's
and then
where's COVID 20?
well, yeah, mom and dad were like, you're not sleeping until noon every day. Like, figure it out. And so I
You were
decided to get
doing
my
this
real-
every day at Kim's house, at my mom's house.
Like, so I was around Kim a lot during COVID. Like,
every day we were staying together.
we were staying
Yeah.
like but I wanted to be around basketball. And so the AD at my high school called me. He was my varsity coach. He was like, you want to help out with middle school? I was like, yeah, sure. 2 days a week. Great. Well, long story short, I ended up coaching 7th grade, 8th grade, JV, and then interim for varsity because the head varsity coach was the football coach. So
Yeah, that's helping out.
I was like, yeah, 2 days a week, went to a full-time commitment plus a real estate job and hanging out with him and coach a lot. And I was like, Coach, I want to get back into it. And fast forward to after the season in April, she started talking about.
It was April because I was at the alternate site in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
April.
she had kind of mentioned that she was contacted by LSU.
Entertaining it.
And she was like, if there's a spot, would you come with me? Because before, and she'll say this, before she was going to take the job, she's got to have her staff. Like, she wouldn't have come here without the staff. And the staff's been with her for a long time. Johnny's been 23 years. Jennifer's 20 plus. Jordan 9, Daphne 9, Kaylin. I mean, very tight-knit staff. And I've known her for a long time, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but, I mean, best decision I've made.
She's obviously Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. She's obviously national championships, has success everywhere. Came here.
Personal friends with Michael Jordan.
Personal friends with Michael Jordan. Inherited a team that didn't play very well the year before. Takes that team. What?
That's a nice way to put it.
I know. I was being very nice.
Yeah.
Takes that same team with some transfers and brings them to the Sweet 16.
No, we lost in round of 32 last year.
Round of 32.
Yeah.
Almost a Sweet 16. But puts them in a position to make it to the Sweet 16 where the year before they won, single-digit games?
9 ball games, yeah.
9 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then fast forward another year, number 1 recruiting class in the country, all these transfers. She's probably going to start the season ranked, in the top 10?
I think AP polls came out, were 16, coaches poll were 14, so somewhere in that.
Somewhere in the top 15.
Yeah, 15-ish
area, right? With high expectations and then bringing in the number 1 recruiting class in the country coming in next year, right? Y'all got some big recruits that have, I know we can't talk recruits.
Can't talk recruits, but we're excited. November 9th can't come soon enough.
There you go.
We're really excited. I mean, I got to give a shout out to Coach G because he's new on our staff, and Coach Starkey's new on our staff. And the energy,
Coach Starkey's not new at LSU.
But not new to LSU, 25 years here.
Yes.
The energy that Coach G brings every day and the way that carries over to his recruiting and his excitement to go on the road. I mean, he's got a family. He's got kids. Obviously, I'm not in that situation. I don't go on the road. I don't have a family. I don't have kids. So I know he's making a lot of sacrifices, as do all assistants who have families. But from the second that he stepped foot in Baton Rouge, his commitment to bringing good players here and his level of excitement for not only the city but for the school, it's unparalleled. Like, you cannot make it up. And some people are like, oh, it's obnoxious, it's fake. There's nothing fake about G. Like, it's every day he's like that. And people in the office are like, G, shut up. You're too loud today. But it's just, he's as real as it gets.
He's so sick. He's so
Love
sick.
G.
What makes Coach what sets her apart? Obviously, everybody knows how fiery she is. Like, she basically doesn't take no for an answer. She gets what she wants because of how persistent she is. Like, all of those things. But working with her, side by side with her for as long as you are, knowing her from when you're young to now being with her professionally.
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm not asking you because that's your mom, so that's not fair
Well,
to ask you that.
I think kind of to preface it, for me, it's been cool to see how I've changed from the time I was young where she got to know me. And I was around her a lot growing up because we played sports together. Even though we weren't at the same high school, we were around each other a lot. And then when I went to college and he went to college, I didn't really see him because he's playing ball all summer. I'm playing ball. Like, I can't get down to Baton Rouge. He's not coming to Austin. So it's like kind of distance ourselves, but kind of the connector was Kim. Like, she'd come down to Austin when Baylor would play Texas, and I'd always make it a point to go to her games. When I was home for the holidays, I'd make it a point. And so we kept that relationship. And then after college, when I really wanted to get back into it, she was all open for it. And I think her passion for not only the game of basketball, but the love for her players and her staff. And it's all about trust.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing with Coach is good, bad, or ugly, she's going to tell you the truth. And she expects her staff to tell her the truth. And that's what makes her the person she is and the successful coach that she's been.
That's all you can ask.
In such a quick window, right? Like, she gets here and the program's completely flipped around and turned around. In your opinion, like,
What is the best thing that she's done since she's been here?
Well, we haven't done anything yet. We haven't arrived.
I agree with that.
So there's a long way to go.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing is bringing people back, because there was kind of that window where there wasn't much interest in LSU women's basketball. Right. You had a lot of success in the early 2000s, and then she beats them in the national championship in 05. Right. That was, Sylvia Simone, that was the best LSU women's basketball team. Yeah. Best team in the country that year, should have won it all.
It's so funny listening to him talk, because this is so my mom coming out of him right now. Hang on. He goes, right, bro, he's so groomed. He goes, well, we haven't done anything yet.
we really haven't.
That is all Kim.
But no, to be completely honest, I never won an NCAA tournament game. So I didn't know what it felt. I was in tears after we beat Jackson State last year, and they're like, we should have blown Jackson State out, because their coaching staff's used to Sweet 16s, Elite 8s, Final Fours. Right. I've never been a part of that. Hell, we lost on a half-court buzzer beater in the NCAA tournament. I'm like, March Madness. You know what it feels like to like. She's been so successful. So, like, being able to surround myself with that success is so different than, like, I love my experience at Texas, but we didn't win anything. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of work to do. I think this year is going to be exciting just because of the amount of we have 9 new players on the team. 2 players that started last year. Alexa started, and then Ryan started a few games in and out. But other than that, we've got a lot of youth. We've got a bunch of transfers. So our motto this year is piece it together. We're one big puzzle right now. And there's days where we have great practice days. There's days we have bad. That's just how it is. But I think putting good days on top of good days and trying to figure it out as we go, that's what it's all about. I think that non-conference is going to give us a chance to really evaluate different lineups, different players at different positions. We've got kids that came from much different Missouri, where LaDeja came from. She's our new post player. She never played an offense like this. Last year, she's from Australia, but she's a JUCO kid, JUCO player of the year, completely different style of basketball. So getting all those kids to buy in, which they've all bought in, and that's what we're most excited about. They may not know what they're doing, but they're bought in, and they're passionate about it, and they show up every day. And it's enjoyable to be around. I mean, it's exciting. There were days when I was in college where I dreaded going to practice because, that's how it is sometimes. But now it's like it's fun to be around this squad.
I can't wait for basketball season. I think LSU sports in general are in a really good spot, right? You have, obviously, Brian Kelly's doing what they're doing in football. You have Jay Johnson has maybe, arguably, we don't know, haven't won anything yet.
Right.
Haven't won anything yet.
Right? On paper, we don't know. Good.
On paper, they look very good. Jay Johnson seems like he's got them going in the right direction. Obviously, Kim's doing her thing with women's basketball, and you got McMahon doing his thing with men's basketball, right? Brought in a good recruiting class. So
volleyball's had a good start.
Gymnastics, LSU sports seem like they're in a really good spot. I love basketball. I'm looking forward to watching basketball. I'm gonna have to go watch some of women's basketball games now because they seem like they're gonna be extremely excited. So it's gonna be fun.
Nothing on Caesars yet for the women's team.
Yeah, I don't think Caesars gonna come out with some early lines. I think they're gonna wait probably until. I don't know how much research they've done.
It's cool to see people actually care about women's basketball here.
Yeah. And that's the other thing,
because it is fun. Like to a lot of people, like women's basketball is a joke, and if it's not a good game, like if it's low level basketball, but like these games, like you come to some of the games last year, like South Carolina, the Florida game we sold out. Those games are fun to watch.
You know it, dude. And I guess I would imagine you're learning it here, like. If you do it well here,
they're gonna show up.
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come.
They will literally come.
It's gotta be cool.
They'll come.
It's gotta be cool as shit too for you because obviously you played here, you made your name here, you were in the world, y'all did things here for you, you made your name here, and then your mom was doing her thing at Baylor, and then now she gets to come here and share the LSU aura.
She's starting to see it. I think she's like the other day you said at one of the practices, she's like, this isn't Baylor. Like I see, like this is a whole different level from where I was. And she loved her time at Baylor. She loved the people there, but the ceiling here is just so much higher than it was there. And she's starting to see that, but I'm just so much more invested in her team and her program, like knowing everything because it's my alma mater and I care so much about LSU. Like I cared about her winning and followed her games at Baylor, but To see her do it here is so sick.
I mean,
bro.
this
so
place
sick.
is
different.
This place is different because, and that's coming from someone that went to a major D1 school. I mean, Texas is one of the biggest brands in the country, but I've never seen anything like this. There's other schools. You got A&M, you got Tech, you got Baylor, SMU, TCU, whatever. You got all those schools in the state of Texas. Here, it's LSU. You got the Saints on Sundays.
And it's literally
LSU.
all corners of the state.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
It's so sick.
And I think the biggest thing that I'm excited about this year is packing that arena. Like, we got to sell more season tickets. I think we're over 5,000.
How do we get a new arena?
Jesus.
I mean, that's out of my control.
I figured. The reason I ask you is because the one person who I think can really maybe make that happen is Kim.
Oh, she's gonna make a push. I'm sure
we're gonna try.
Will Wade.
He can't speak about
Will
this.
Wade was the other person who I thought could make a difference.
He got coached on this. He can't
You're
speak about
That's
this.
right. Will could make a difference. Now, obviously, he's gone. Right. New coach has to kind of get his feet wet before he starts making demands. The one person in the basketball program that I feel like ain't scared to do something is Kim, and
we saw the new offices. That happened.
You've got to do something for her, and that is fill the PMAC, because there's no way they're going to build a new arena if you can't fill the one we have now.
Yeah.
So, big push for the students this year. That's our biggest thing. We've got so many promotion nights this year. We've got Greek night. We've got whiteout. All this stuff that'll be coming out soon. I mean, we talked about it on the way over here. Like, go to a basketball game. Use it as a pregame. Go to Fred's after. Like, Fred's supported us so much last year, just reposting LSU women's basketball stuff. And, like, y'all saw what they did with Barstool this weekend?
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to get Barstool on board, too. Coach has already been on Erica Nardini's podcast. Like, this program is surface level. Like, there's no ceiling for us right now. I mean, the future is so bright, and the LSU is just the best place to be right now.
Yeah.
Kramer, you mentioned a little bit about your mom saying this isn't Baylor. I feel like she had an idea of what LSU could be in terms of she's played against it so much. She's seen it so often whenever it's like, I'm from Louisiana. I know what it could be. And so for her to be here 1 year in, like, that had to be a reason almost. She had it set at Baylor. She had it built that she wants to build here. She'd already built her palace. She'd already built, like, this thing is going to grow on its own. But whenever she gets to, like, the call from Baton Rouge, like, if I could do this in Baton Rouge, that would be, it seems like the ideal spot.
For sure. Like I said, she reached the absolute ceiling when she was at Baylor. There was nothing more that she could accomplish. And when she would recruit players, she was recruiting them to her program and what she had accomplished.
She's not recruiting them to Baylor.
She's not recruiting. What are you going to
Let's be honest. It's her name.
It's her name. It's her name.
Sure.
It's her name and her program.
Yeah.
And the professional players that she had produced and the national championships and Big 12 championships she produced. She gets here, like, they haven't, like you said, they haven't accomplished anything yet, and she's getting any recruit she wants. Like, LSU recruits itself, and she's never had that. And she's like, well, I have my reputation now with a university and a city and a fan base like this. Like, this is next level.
You're dropping Tums into a Diet Coke.
We're having kids transfer here. An All-American from Maryland.
Is it Tums? It's
Mentos.
Mentos.
No, it's definitely Mentos.
I don't think it's
definitely
Tums.
Mentos.
Yeah.
But, like, you look at a girl like Angela Reese, averaged 18 and 11 last year at Maryland
dog.
as a sophomore.
She's gonna be a dog.
And she calls.
So what are the expectations this year for y'all?
National championship.
Realistically, like I say, realistically, I don't care about being realistic.
I don't know.
I'm
I don't
optimistic.
know if I'll speak on it.
No. I'm gonna be completely honest because
to.
I think it's fair. You want to win 90% of your non-conference games. I think that's very realistic. Conference, you want to finish top 4 in the conference, and then make a run in the NCAA tournament.
That's what you want.
That's what you want. We want to host.
Talent-wise,
we want to host the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. That means being a top 16 overall seed.
Okay.
I can't really. I mean, yeah.
You don't have to say. Oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. But with the talent, the sky's the limit this year. Like, you have the ability to reach every goal that you set forward based off the talent you have on the team this year.
You look at Coach Mulkey's past teams; the most talented teams haven't won our national championships.
Right.
This team is significantly more talented than last year's team.
But last year had that buy-in that's KimMulkey.com, wherever you get.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Alexis Morris. I mean, she's gonna have a big year. This is her last go around. I think it's actually the last go around.
She
year,
what, fifth
year 6, 7, something like that. I'm pretty sure she was in high
She
school.
almost got tenure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was
got 15, 20 year.
So Lex,
Ricky got 20
Lex
year.
went to a small private school in Beaumont, and I went to a small private school in Waco. I'm pretty sure my senior year, she was playing in the state tournament as a freshman, and I mean the girl can play, and she's been the biggest kind of person on the team to say, hey, this is it. Like, for me, I don't have another go around. And I think last year really hurt her because of her injury. When she got hurt against Bama, she missed the SEC tournament, and she fought every inch and every bone in her body to get back healthy, but she wasn't healthy for those last 2 games. So I think she's got an extra chip on her shoulder this year.
Yeah.
And tie that with Angel and LaDeja and Jack. Like, we've got experienced players who have transferred in, and plus you've got some young talent.
Well,
and
yeah, but I say, so then who's new here as far as for whether it's a transfer, whether it's a freshman, who's new here that day in and day out you can just tell they're making a foothold and they're making it hard to keep them off the court right now?
I think the biggest, the freshman. I mean, Flage, who's big time. I mean, in the rap game itself, she's a stud. Y'all, I don't know if y'all saw the videos from Go Mad. If y'all have heard her music, that girl is just an out of this world talent in the rap world. Take her on the court, she's locked in every day, wants to get better, wants to learn more. And then Elisa and Samaya, they're gonna have to play. Those are our two freshman bigs. They've both really been bought in, and the sky's the limit for both of them. They're both good size. Samaya's a little bit more thin, but plays a nice finesse game. Elisa's physical. I mean, those 3 right there, pretty solid group of freshmen. And then you go to our transfers. Kateri Poole came from Ohio State, was on the team that beat us last year that went to the Sweet 16. She's a perimeter player, can shoot it, can play defense, physical. And then Jasmine Carson from West Virginia, lights out shooter. She won a 3-point contest at Go Mad. There's a lot of pieces that we have in a lot of different lineups that
because you can only play 5 at a time.
Yeah,
now.
well,
which is great because I'm hearing like 13 names right now.
Sounds
like a deep squad to me.
The one that he's most excited about is LaDeja. Yeah. So LaDeja, she was at
you haven't even mentioned the Angel yet.
Yeah, I talked about her. The All-American.
She's All-American as a sophomore. She's a dog.
18 and 11 last year as a sophomore. And
pretty good.
LaDeja 6'5", 6'6", out of Missouri. We were so glad she didn't play against us last year when we played Missouri, and we still barely won that game. And now we get her, and she gets to work with Coach Starkey and Daphne every day. Like, I'm telling you, there's a lot of excitement around the program.
I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to being able to go and actually. I'm looking forward to all the sport. Obviously, it's football season. I can't wait for the Alabama game.
Yeah.
I can't wait, but starting to wind down a little bit. Obviously, you're gonna have the playoffs. You're gonna have the bowl games. You're gonna have whatever.
We just getting started.
Because you have 4 games left.
Well, maybe
6.
And
yeah, you went out. You get.
Dude, I'm so excited for Bama.
Well, that's what
November's the real month. Let's just be honest. November's the real month.
Yeah. Right.
Well, what did he say?
The last month of the season.
That's the real season.
October's for pretenders.
Yeah.
November's for contenders.
Yeah.
He's Brian Kelly's has some nice
one-liners.
Like he talked about like, for all the personality issues that everybody talks about. Brian
He's been
Kelly,
way more personable
exactly
this year than
leave my man alone.
Culture rubs off on you,
bro. He has exceeded my expectations in year 1, for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, I
already
thus far, yes.
I mean, I think he's exceeded everybody's expectations. We talked about we thought that they could win 8-9 games based off of coaching. We just knew that he was a good coach.
All I'm saying is I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but through 8 games in the year, they're exactly where I thought they would be. It just didn't happen the same way I thought.
Exactly.
I'm with you.
I thought we would beat Florida State.
I had him 6-0 to start, and then I had him losing 3 in a row. They're 6-2 right now.
Yeah. I was one less loss.
But if we
it's exactly the same where I thought they'd be after 8 weeks in the season. Just not, it didn't happen. The same games didn't happen.
And I'm convinced if you play Florida State again, you beat them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
no doubt.
I'm convinced if Florida State doesn't play a week 0 game, they beat them.
Yeah,
I agree.
No doubt.
Well, they started that game off. They started every other game that they've won that's been close. They've still got a tight. I'd just like to see I'd love to see a first half lead.
That game was awful. I was watching that on a bus. I was watching that on a bus back from somewhere going to Memphis.
We were
on my phone. That was
And
awful.
you know how it works. Everybody's
That was
working it out.
Nashville. We were in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
We were in Nashville because we were watching in the airport with your mom.
It was
Oh.
Nashville. We were coming back from Nashville. I was so pissed.
Hopefully next week's the week we start off hot and get the lead early. So if we get the lead early, who fucking knows what happens? Because Jesus Christ, we don't even know what to do.
I'm gonna actually be honest with you. I'd be kind of scared if they get the lead early.
Me too.
I would like to see them just stay in it. Lead early, I feel like they'll get loose, and I don't really want it that way.
You don't want to be
I
down
would
17
rather
to
see
Bama,
them
We flipped
3
another
to
recruit.
6 to 8 points down.
Recruiting's cooking hard. Cooking.
Oh, that cat from
Something's in
Baylor?
the air in Baton Rouge.
Guy
when it
from
comes to
Baylor.
recruiting.
Guy from Baylor came here. Linebacker committed. Like, also, who's that freshman linebacker who's getting in the lineup all the time now?
Harold Perkins?
No.
You mean that Harold guy?
Harold Perkins? That would be
Tavian?
big sports show.
Something. Tobin.
Tovian something.
Y'all know your
You know what
LSU
I'm talking
football.
Yeah.
Well, he came out of nowhere. I was like, who is this guy? He's a freshman. I read his name. I don't remember his name.
And I saw
but-
Burns will be back next week.
Yeah, I don't know how much he's gonna be able to play just because he's been out for so long.
But it's good coming off a bye. Only thing
No
that
doubt.
scares me is Saban off a bye.
Every year it happens.
Well, that's
That's
part of the
every-
job.
Wait. Have you heard the
Welcome.
stat of
It's part of the
BK off
gig.
a bye?
What is it?
11-1.
Love that. Finally
Yeah,
got
that, Mom?
You know why? You know why? Because we got a coach that actually knows how to coach. Knows how to
Major
prepare.
Burns coming back.
You just said that.
Seven Banks maybe coming back.
Speaking of
Ronnie
seven.
Goodwin's
Speaking
back.
of seven. Speaking of seven. We get to face our seven gets to face their seven, who finally somehow started playing. He played well. Talking about Elias Ricks.
Yeah.
He wanted to wear 7 here. He wasn't going to wear 7 here. Bounced. Didn't want to be here anymore. Went to Alabama. Apparently was not being very... Saban didn't like him very much. Hasn't played him until last week. And then,
Until he needed
to, and then he played, and of course he balled out, unfortunately for us. But now we get to play him. I think it's going to be... I think Kayshawn's going to have an unbelievable game. Only simple fact because it's just like...
From the
It's
reports,
personal.
from the reports I've heard from him, it's not the talent's never really been that question. It's
from Ricks?
About Ricks. Yeah.
Oh, I was told that they told him to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So I was told.
He wasn't. I was told he wasn't very popular.
So
They said,
He
yeah.
said he didn't play zone defense, and they're like, "Well, you know that you have to." And he's like, "Not for me."
So we're what, a week?
You go tell that to Bill Belichick.
Okay,
At
yeah, go tell it to
18.
the NFL. You know what? Actually, no, you know what?
18,
Play man coverage in the
not
NFL and
coach.
see what the fuck happens to you every time. You ain't there yet.
So a week and a half out. Score prediction.
Whoa.
Oof.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay,
strong.
I will say this.
42-38 LSU.
Our friends at Caesar Sportsbook, go ahead, download the Caesar Sportsbook. I use Mik'd. We haven't used that. We haven't said that in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll pass on that. Okay. I bet the Alabama LSU line last week before LSU even played Ole Miss. Right?
Uh huh.
I was confident LSU was going to beat Ole Miss. The line, LSU Alabama line last week before that game was 17.
In the half.
Oh.
Plus
yeah.
17 and a half.
Yeah.
Was it 17 and a half? We both took it. Boom, LSU plus 17 and a half. Now it's plus 14 and a half. I think it's going to continue to go down a little bit. I think it's going to get down to 12.
I think
Night
10.
game in Death Valley. Big crowd.
Kim Mulkey's
Alabama's
there.
got a little
Kim
vulnerability
Mulkey.
in the secondary.
Kim Mulkey shows
Kim
up.
Mulkey showing
gives
face at the game.
the pregame speech.
That's it.
Oh,
Defensive
okay.
line.
My mom's gonna be there. She went to Alabama.
Okay.
Oh.
So
Okay.
Yes, she will.
Hopefully she brings him bad luck.
She'll be here.
She know how to get
so
here.
we were actually in Waco when Bama lost to Tennessee, so she wasn't happy about that.
They have the receivers.
Oh, she's
aren't-
got-
the receivers are not playing as well as they have been for Alabama. Their offense has been a little inconsistent. Now you do have the Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback.
Bryce
which
Young
scares the
is
hell
an
out of me.
absolute stud.
Yeah, he's a baller. Their running back is an absolute animal.
Yep.
From Georgia Tech.
Yep.
They have 2 of them. Obviously, they always have 2 of
How
them.
did he get lost at Georgia Tech first? I don't even know.
He looks like Alvin Kamara. That's what he
unbelievable.
runs exactly like Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He didn't get lost there. They used the shit out of him.
No, I know. No, get lost in sense of how did you land there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Good pickup for Georgia.
Like how did you land there?
Y'all know the recruiting landscape of high school football much better than I do. I could imagine something happened.
31-28, Ratty. 31-28 LSU.
Whoa.
I think a lot of
59?
people. I think a lot of people are gonna think it's gonna be a high scoring game, just based off what Tennessee and Bama did. But I think I think the defenses are. I think.
Well, then you look at what Alabama did last week, and they basically shut out Mississippi State.
Right.
LSU did the same after giving up 17.
No.
31-28. Book it. That's my prediction.
I'm thinking 27-24 LSU.
See, 27-24 has been such a
If it's 27-24, that place is gonna be on fucking tilt.
I'm going, and this is strictly off of honestly just trying to make my preseason shit right. So, I'm not wavering.
Ooh, you're going to go opposite.
So I'm going to go 38-34 Bama.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. I hate it.
That's fine. That's fine.
I love that, actually. I love that you did that.
That doesn't bother me.
Because you want to come in here and you want to be wrong on Monday.
Yeah, it's fine.
What did Les do to you? Who hurt you?
Who?
Les?
Who's that?
Ma?
Huh?
Who? Why'd you go play baseball?
Do I have to make a prediction?
We're a sports show.
No, you got a week.
I'm going to make it.
You got a week.
Yeah, we got a long time, but my early prediction.
Got to keep it within 17.
It's going to be within 17.
I don't think there's any doubt it's within 17.
Can we guess the first quarter score?
48-21, Bama.
48 what?
48-21, Bama. LSU covers.
48-21.
That would not be covering.
Can you just
That's
do the math real quick?
27.
38-21.
I teased it.
38-21 would be 17.5.
That sounds good too.
48-21.
Wow.
That is a straight boat race.
I hope not.
If it's
that stadium will be clear by the middle of the third. If
That's 27
that's
points.
the case.
That's close to 17.
Yeah, 10 points off.
Yeah, just 10 points, 100 points. Wilt Chamberlain. If you remove that 0, wasn't that good?
Oh my god.
Boy, oh boy.
All right, I'm gonna go
38.
Could have at least said like 38-24. That would be in that 17.
That's what I think I was trying. I'm mathlexic.
I'm gonna go 41-38.
It's a disability.
41-30. So 10 points more than mine on both sides. Wow.
It's a lot of points.
That is a lot of points.
Fucking
It's a
math
whole
leads
lot
in
of
here.
points.
I just think both coaches.
No, I don't like that. Too many points.
It's a lot of points.
Wait,
bro.
you can't do that.
Both
That's a lot of
coaches have a
points.
chance to throw some crazy defensive schemes at each other.
I'm thinking I'm 70. That's
Every
79
time
points.
Bama has been in a game that
That's a
is
lot of
supposed to
points.
be close or like they're supposed to be beaten. I don't know if LSU is in that category, but you'd look at 2019 LSU versus Alabama. That's LSU's best team of all time, maybe the best college football of all time. LSU did get out to an
Not
early
sure
lead.
That's a maybe.
Not sure it's a maybe either, but LSU won by 5? You see Tennessee
Okay,
has
they didn't win by 5. They won more than that, didn't they?
pretty sure it's by 5.
They had some
It
trash
was
time
a-
touchdowns.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
But it was a single digit final.
But LSU got out to a lead where you're like, oh, this is very comfortable. Pick six, not a pick six, but pick right before the end of the first
Alabama
half.
scored the first
touchdowns.
possession of the game, didn't they?
No, LSU
No, they
got
fumbled.
out. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Tua fumbled. I remember that. They might have kicked a field goal.
No,
or something.
they dropped a punt. Remember? And then LSU recovered that. LSU got out to a 10-0 lead or 14-0 lead. Then they returned a punt for a touchdown.
You're right.
And that's what made it. Then
That's right.
Patrick Queen gets the pick. They throw it to Clyde, corner route to make it. And you're like, all right, LSU's rolling after that interception. Bama comes out second half and starts putting the pedal to the metal.
It's one of the games that he watched on ESPN.
Literally, so just tell me the truth right now.
that.
Like, I just
I
need
missed
you to
that.
tell me, how many fucking times have you watched that game?
Once.
Lies. There is no way in
when
hell.
I'm locked in, I'm
Yeah,
locked
man.
in.
He's lying. You know
You're
why?
so
Because
full
he
of
told me this year he always watches the game. He rewatches the game the next day.
He's
every
a
time.
lion right
What was the
now.
game that we came to? It was at 18. It was like
30-0.
30-0. Yeah, that was. I
That
just
was-
hope it's not that.
That was 18.
I don't think we lay an egg. Like, there will not be a goose egg. No. I mean, LSU.
I think they, as a program, like
You're gonna have
learned
to figure
something
out.
huge.
You're gonna have to
that
figure
Tennessee
out how
did.
to. Will Anderson, because
I don't really think you can. I think you just leave him alone.
Oh, coach, you didn't
Can't
see,
block him. Don't block him.
You didn't see LSU come out in 14 personnel?
Hey, can't block him. Don't block him. Just leave him. Let him run free.
Hey,
Let him run into his own
throw it
traps.
to the other side.
For real. Let him run into his own traps.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Maybe get him in a little personal foul situation. Saw what happened. He got
That's
frustrated in
big,
Texas.
I really do think if you do stuff with guys like that, like you do that kind of stuff, and then you automatically slow them down when you keep putting them in like conflict. Like
Not
that.
gonna lie, Bama should have 2 losses. Let's be honest. Texas should have beat them.
But they always
Where'd you go to
rise
school?
to like the real
Yeah, that's
occasion
right.
too.
If Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt, I really do think they win.
They win by 2 touchdowns.
Well, okay.
No,
Texas-
I think,
Okay.
Texas is so back, by the way.
Back.
Y'all are
Hey,
so
but
back.
Sam's starting this week.
Sam's
the Colts.
back.
Sam's back.
Sam's back.
He gets
I
to
love that
play.
for him.
Texas is so back.
So
That's my least favorite school of all time ever. I don't dislike.
Listen, Texas
I don't
never
dislike
back.
any school
Miami's
but
never
Texas.
back. Two schools that are never back.
Are you trying to put the hex on them, or do you really think they're back?
I genuinely just don't like the University of Texas. It's the only school in the country that I genuinely dislike.
Oh, the Baylor dies.
It hurts.
I enjoy Texas.
Oh no, it has nothing to do with
Texas.
Baylor.
They did good things.
They
for
didn't
us.
recruit
I
me.
enjoy Texas.
Hey, they gave us a championship.
Love Texas.
Give us a championship.
Who was the quarterback when you were playing quarterback in Texas?
When I was
When you were playing quarterback in high school,
Jesus.
who was
He lost the state championship to Baker Mayfield.
yeah, but I beat JT Barrett in the semifinals.
He's had a good career.
So who you lost to who in the finals?
Baker.
Hey, you saw? You know?
Did he plant the flag on you?
Hey, you know where Baker's at right now?
No, but he talked.
Is
trash.
Baker third string now?
You lost to who in the finals?
That's his favorite quarterback in the NFL.
Bro, they were good.
He might be the worst quarterback.
PJ Walker, starting quarterback now for the Carolina Panthers.
PJ Walker, the GOAT.
XFL Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He was throwing some dots last week.
Hey, you
He's
can see
actually
it.
good.
Yeah,
He's
he
better
is.
than what people think he
Yeah, he
is.
That's why he's a starter. All right, Seggies.
Okay.
Not my fault. Brought to you by Dozy Place.
We got a couple of. They're a little odd this week.
I like your first one. Just stick with your first one.
Yeah, I saw that second. That looked pretty long right there.
Yeah, let's stick with the first one.
Let me find them again. You always do this to me.
Well, I mean, you gotta look at the time. We're about to get 8 o'clock.
I know, but I'm switching cameras. I can't pull up two screens at once.
Yeah,
It's kind of a thing. All right, here we go. My fault, not my fault. First one, which is bizarre, and it really is my fault, not my fault.
Only one.
World's dirtiest man
Oh, I saw that. Ugh.
dies in Iran at 94, a few months after the first bath he's ever taken.
60 years, right?
60 years. So this man was convinced.
Well, hold on. So it wouldn't have been the first bath he's ever taken.
Well, no, but since he's committed to this lifestyle, it's like I don't really, I don't.
So why
I was
did you do
forced
this?
to drink milk early in my life, and now I've
How do you just
continued
wake
to.
up one day and you're like, hey, I'm not gonna bathe?
Yeah, what?
for
Tell me
the
the
rest of my
background.
life?
And so apparently he had taken at least one bath in his life, but he committed a 60-year lifestyle to I'm not going to take a bath.
Why?
Because he felt like anything clean that touched him it was gonna kill him. Essentially, he was of the idea that his lifestyle was the way that was going to compel his life to live long.
He was one with the earth.
Exactly, and
I
so he would.
respect it.
Me too. He would take smoke baths where he would eat dead animals, and he would also smoke dead animal excrement. And this is how he lived his life. And he was alive until he was 94. He would take smoke baths where people would breathe pod on him, and that's how he bathed himself.
Now, do you do smoke baths naked or clothed?
I'd
How does
imagine
that-
this man is probably very close to being naked while still being clothed. I don't think he washes his clothes.
Okay,
He's
so then
washing himself.
then he bathes. Why did he bathe?
He got convinced by the community that it was time for maybe you should clean up.
Because he smelled so bad.
Right. And so he takes a bath. Not more than 2 months later, he dies from who knows what. But the fact that he was living a
Maybe he
long.
was 94.
No,
This
they
is
said-
such a Lloyd thing to do.
I know.
I saw this thing and I just figured he died
He
7
died,
hours later or 3 days later. Lloyd's not less than 2 months later he finally dies.
Haji,
At
who they
94.
called him, covered in suit and living in a cinder block shack, was reported by local media not to have bathed with water or soap in more than 60 years. Villagers said he had experienced emotional setbacks
What?
in his youth that led him to refuse to wash. In 2014, the Tehran Times reported that Haji would eat roadkill, smoke a pipe filled with animal excrement, and believe that cleanliness would make him ill. Photos showed him multiple cigarettes at once. That's just Saturday at Fred's. But a few months ago, villagers had pursued him to wash for the first time. After Haji's death, the unofficial record would go to an Indian man who had also not bathed for much of his life. However, so he lost his record, which is unfortunate.
So there's someone trying to break this record now?
But it might be me. He would reject water in favor of what he called a fire bath. Every evening, villagers would gather, light a bonfire, smoke marijuana, and stand on a leg praying to Lord Shiva. So he's kind of like a god. And,
What a guy.
So my fault, not my fault. Seems like it's the village's fault.
I guess the villagers' fault. They killed him.
They killed him. Man's allergic to water.
Just let that man live his life.
Yeah,
huh?
man. Just let him be dirty.
God.
If he
That's
wants
what
to
I'm
be dirty.
saying. There's plenty of people that read any story ever of World War II people. I drink 4 bottles of whiskey and have 2 cigarettes before I go to bed, and they're 102. Nobody knows anything about how to take care of their body. It's just literally between some people are vegan.
Time out.
Don't know about anything.
Time out.
Anything strong.
The average lifespan back then was
50,
and the average lifespan now is
probably 52.
No, like 75.
People are fat as fuck and disgusting.
So on average, people are living whole lot longer. I think we figured out something.
Probably medicine.
Lloyd, what do you do every day?
Advances in modern
Lloyd, what do you do every day at
technology.
12?
AM or PM?
PM. Let's go PM.
Work out.
Exactly.
Okay, so
At
what?
45.
So people have learned something about life.
No,
huh?
that's just because I'm vain as hell, and I couldn't imagine being one of those people that's like Diet Coke and double
Mental sanity.
Big
it's
Mac.
still part of it.
Yeah. They're like, let me get a number 4, extra fries.
Large Diet Coke and a Frosty or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're like, well, then put Diet
I'm all
Coke.
about it. I'm all about
Well, you
that.
work out all the time.
No, I haven't worked out in 4+ months.
You got good genes.
Dude, I haven't touched a weight since whenever my injury was in July. So I got to start. It's going to be brutal when I start next
You'll
week.
be sore.
Yeah, it's
Today
gonna be
was
sore
really
for about a
bad.
month.
Today was
longest I've
tough
ever
at
gone.
45.
All right,
First one
curtain calls.
today. First one today all week. It was
Brought to you by
brutal.
Shirt Partners. Frankie Harris at Shirt Partners. My boss. You can go. You got one?
I don't know if y'all like it.
It's your curtain call. You're going to curtain call the grandmother dying.
Yeah. Curtain call to this woman who thought it was okay. Well, curtain call to her life. This is more
There
of
we go.
that's an idea
There
of
we go.
respect.
There we go.
An idea of respect. Curtain call to this woman. She got eaten by a 22-foot python. She was only 54.
But they ate her whole.
Ate her whole. She was still mostly intact, according to police reports.
Wait, what?
I read this.
Yeah.
See, we're on the same internet, which I don't know if that's good
He doesn't
for
miss
Kim.
anything. Where did this happen?
Indonesia. Authorities say a missing Indonesian grandmother was swallowed whole by a 22-foot python over the weekend. Family of the 54-year-old woman reported her missing after they say she went to collect rubber. A tough life. I don't know where you get rubber.
Indonesia.
Uh,
Hey, Daddy, go send
The
that
raw
weird man
shop
back to
is
Look
where I
at all
got
this
rubber.
material in one post.
Yeah.
Daddy, send that weird man back to Indonesia.
Get the rubber. So I guess they're starting on they didn't want to have any more family members. The city on the island of Sumatra, the country's second longest island, not largest, longest. They say that the reason that they thought that she may have been missing was her husband went to look for her. They only found her sandals, jacket, headscarf, and knife. So
Knife. Should use a knife. Knife could probably come in handy a little bit there.
Yeah.
right. So the snake found everything he didn't like about her and everything he did. Search party found a reticulated python with a large bulge in its stomach. The police chief told the Times of India a woman was found in the snake's
Are we
stomach
reading the whole article?
and that her body appeared to be largely intact. There's a video of them cutting it open, which I will spare everybody
Yes,
from.
thank you. Don't do that.
But it's not a bad way to be buried if you want to be like your remains intact. It's almost like you got put on ice a little bit.
Must have been a big
Lloyd, what are you
casket.
doing
It's
to
like
me
a
right
rebirth.
now?
All right, so my curtain
What are you doing
call,
to me right now?
My curtain call.
And that's brought to you by Assured Partners and Frankie Harris.
There you go. My curtain call, and it's an anti-curtain call.
Oh.
We talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the
These are the
season.
best ones.
At the beginning of the show. In the Heineken headlines, we talked about this man. We talked about this cartoon character. This fake persona that I think that he's adopted as his own personal I think he's confused. My curtain call is to it's inevitable that somebody on this Broncos team,
The artist formerly known as.
the artist formerly known as Russell Wilson. But my current call isn't for Russell Wilson.
The artist formerly known as Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah, Mr. Dangerous.
Broncos
Artist.
Nation.
Broncos Nation.
Let's ride.
My current call
Go
is to the
Hawks.
guy who's inevitably going to punch him in the face or get in a fight with him or stand up to him because this man needs to be stood up to. This man needs to be put back and down into his place.
Something needs to stop this.
Something needs to happen.
Future?
Because you cannot be doing high knees on a flight down the aisle on an 8-hour flight with your teammates sleeping. That cannot happen.
I would trip you.
That happened.
Sit down.
Russell
hear
Wilson,
that?
he
No,
worked
where
out
am I-
for 4
Bro.
hours. You sleep
Bro,
all
I
day.
miss
That's right. You
everything.
miss everything.
I'm sorry. I've been
8-hour
gone
flight
since February.
For the 8 hours,
not
he was
working
working out. He slept for 1 hour, and something like this that would happen would usually be told by the coaches or a player or someone.
Yeah.
He told the media this. He said, I worked out, I did high knees on the flight in the aisles where everybody was sleeping. I did 2 hours of treatment. I watched film, and I only slept for 1 hour on this 8-hour flight. All while he's smiling.
Because they're playing in London this week, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be jet lagged.
Bro.
And he goes, I don't get jet lagged.
I'm
He said
out.
that, I don't get jet lagged.
Oh, he's got concussion water.
And he's got Wolverine blood.
Wolverine.
That didn't work because he didn't play.
But he didn't
last
play.
week.
So the Wolverine.
So my
Sucked.
current call
Well,
is to
Wolverine
the first
did
person
die in
on
the
the Denver
last one.
Broncos who fucking puts him back in his place because I can't get it. I'm over
There's a few Longhorns on that team.
Can you imagine?
What are they gonna
Imagine
do?
somebody doing that on a big league flight somewhere.
That's what I wanted to get
It's
y'all's
over.
opinion on.
Bro.
It's over.
Think about the guys who were playing cards. Like, cards fall off the table, chips fall off the table.
All because he's
doing high
I just
knees.
can't imagine that no one says anything. Like, they just let him go and no one says
Well,
anything.
isn't that
There's just no way.
Isn't that the biggest
You're
testament?
in a room full of alpha males, bro. There's no way people are just
Well, here's the
watching
other
this happen
deal.
and not
Here's the
saying
other deal that I
anything.
can't get over is if you play with Russell Wilson, and if you play Russell Wilson, and you want to call Russell Wilson to get in touch with him, you can't do it.
Right, you got to go through
You have to go through his manager to talk to him. I can't get on board with that.
I can't either.
See, you know why he was probably good in Seattle? What do you think Marshawn Lynch is doing on that flight if he's got Russ doing
Eating
Heinz?
Skittles?
Sit your ass down.
But-
Marshawn was high and drunk, and he was like, "Who is Russell?" I
And
don't even know who that is.
Marshawn's
Who's
probably
making
making
all that
fun of
fucking
him.
racket in the back?
Probably making fun of him.
That's what I'm saying. You need a guy like Marshawn that actually will tell you the truth to be like, bro, sit the fuck down. Because we ain't doing this today. We're in London. I don't have a passport. I don't know how I'm getting back. Like, you got to cool it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have that in Denver yet because he's been appointed by himself as the team leader. And this is what you get when Russell Wilson feels like he's like, it's almost like Enron. Like, who's running the company?
What?
I mean, I guess. Anyway, your curtain call.
My curtain call right now would go to. I know it's the middle of the year. Not much is going on really. Like as far as for like we said, November's like the real season. Yeah. But my curtain call would go to Howie Roseman of the Eagles right now, because somehow, some way today they just traded for Robert Quinn, who was second in the league in sacks last year behind T.J. Watt. I don't know how they're acquiring all these people. They got 2 first-round picks.
Robert Quinn used to play for the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah. They got 2 first-round picks coming up this year. They drafted the Jordan Davis
One of the
dude.
first-round picks from the Saints.
Their team's undefeated still right now.
year.
I don't know how they're pulling this off.
And this year.
But my curtain calls to him because he's obviously hoodwinking the hell out of the whole league right now.
They're balling out.
They're doing everything right. They haven't missed.
That whole division, actually.
It's not good for my Cowboys. Go,
No.
go Cowboys.
Definitely not. It's not good for anybody else in the NFC. Right
Hate the Longhorns. Go Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great show, boys.
So Texas.
Great show. Thank y'all for coming in.
Yeah,
thanks
thanks
y'all
for
for
having
hanging
us.
out and shooting the
Yeah,
shit
it was
with us.
fun.
Having the show. It was a good show.
Oh, and you know about Howie Roseman is he's been doing like mock drafts since he was like a freshman in college. He'd bring down the big board with the people that dormed with him, and they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "This is what I want to do for a living." So he would scout the entire 7 rounds of the NFL draft and do a big board, and they had to sit there and like, couldn't.
And you know
there's
what?
nothing you could do with
I
it.
bet you, if you were in there, you'd have made fun of him. Now look at him now.
No, I would have been all in.
Now, how did you get this information?
You talked to Howie?
It's a little
Page 6?
little thing called the Ringer.com.
That's a credible source.
Hey, the most diabolical search bar in America right now.
I can't even imagine.
I don't want to view his search history.
I do not want to.
Why do you think this is
Final note. Exhibition game tomorrow night, free to the public. If you want to get a first taste of it. Then next week, Thursday night, exhibition game, and then the real show starts Monday after Bama. If people aren't too hungover, buy season tickets.
There
too.
you go. Pre-game, like he said. Pre-game for Freds. Get in there, watch the game.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. Actually,
Speaking of pre-games.
Speaking of pre-games, let me pull up this text message.
What's funny is I put all that stuff in the document. Mikey just flew right by it.
No, you didn't put this in the document.
No, not this, but all of the, tried to pub LSU women's basketball. We had Kim Mulkey on today. She had
What do you mean? We just talked 35 minutes about women's basketball.
She had a new saying. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I don't remember it. But there's a new team credo that's in the works that she dropped.
What is a credo?
Like a
Is it
credo, like it's like a
welcome to the
saying.
show?
Yeah,
Welcome to the show.
it might be that.
That's like their big things, like welcome to the show.
It's going to be a movie this year.
Have you heard of credo
Get your
before?
popcorn ready.
Oh, best popcorn in Baton Rouge.
Lloyd looked
is
at
in
me
the
like I'm
PMAC.
supposed to know that. I've never heard
You've
that
never
word
heard of
in
a
my
credo?
life.
It's like a saying. It's something that
I
people
have
live
not.
by. That's my credo.
A motto?
No, it's a credo.
No, never.
There's synonyms. Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
That's the first time I've heard it. Him too.
I call it a motto. It's okay. You like the song?
Lloyd looked at me like, I can't believe you never heard that. No. I
Anyway,
never heard that.
before we shut it down, appreciate you tuning in. We are going to be live from Uncle Earl's again on Friday, 4:30 to 6. Trey Gallman and the Last Call Band are at Earl's at 10 o'clock with a costume contest. So,
What are you going as?
well, I'm not in the contest. But what I'm saying is, come to Earl's, watch the show, hang out with us. It's a light weekend. Don't have a lot of LSU to talk about. Talk a lot about a lot of other things. World Series starts on Friday. Aaron Nola is starting game 1. Talk about that. Talk about some gambling stuff. Come dressed up in your costumes. Have some pregame because you need to get
Make it a day.
Yeah, get a little.
Make it a day.
I don't want to say the word that I want to say because
You don't have anything you don't have anything to hold back for on Saturday.
We got
Just
practice
make it
at
a
9 a.m.
day.
Saturday.
Yeah, you just got to get a little bit
Open?
liquored up before the costume
Per
contest.
usual.
Costumes always look better when you have a little alcohol in your system. You know what I mean? So
That's my first
4:30 to
line.
6. Trey Gallman playing at 10 o'clock. Come have some pregame drinks with us on our show from Uncle
We should
Earl's
dress up on
Live.
Friday for the show.
I thought we were dressing up on Monday.
2 costumes.
I'm not creative enough for 2 costumes. I got to figure out what I'm going to do.
We should put it on the. We should
Yeah,
do
make a poll. What should we dress up as?
We'll do it on Twitter.
Tweeter.
Tweeter.
The tweeter.
Getting live on the video games.
Getting live on the video games. All right. Appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe, share it, tell a friend. We're mic'd up. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. We will see you on Friday.
No rubbers.
Being balls.
Get eaten by a snake.
Jesus.
Hey.
Hey.
What, Lloyd? No rubbers.
You're the only mic that was still on.